never, in nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
You do your work, and we will do our best.
Republic. I like the sound of it. It means people can live free, talk free, go or come, buy or sell, be drunk or sober.
Are you ready to be free?
No poetry, just a straight answer.
The government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
We are men of the hood. That ain't how it gets.
But there's no both sides anymore. They're just trying to wreck our goddamn country. It's time for you younger guys to take over it.
You meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
If you guys don't start thinking as men, we're gonna have a lousy country.
For the crimes of incitement to cause unrest, I decline to be an outlaw.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Outlaw Radio Network for the 22nd of January, 2023. Thanks for checking out the show. To my immediate left, ladies and gentlemen, the man that is co-owner of Black Ring? Are you co-owner? Or?
Yeah, I'm one of the three.
There's three owners?
There's three of us, yeah. There's myself, there's Heather, and...
Oh, your wife?
Yeah.
Women can't own property. Never mind. So there's two of you. All right.
Oh.
So, Black Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hey, how's it going?
Lori is here, and I think she's going to be on camera at the far end of the table. Hello, Lori. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome back. Glad you're here. Yeah. Boss Baby is on the other side doing what she does on the computer end of things so well. Hello, Boss Baby. Your mic's not on, Boss Baby. There you go.
Hi.
And DJ D is still fighting the plague, but he is here on the other side of the glass. Hello, Dennis. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, too.
Oh, I've heard leukemia patients that sound more excited than you tonight. Are you okay? How you feeling?
Yeah.
Get some rest, my friend. If you need to just go no commercials for the hour so you can go take a nap, just be back for top of the hour. We'll make it work. I got your back, buddy. St. Paul is not here. Paul is, as we said on Wednesday's show, Paul is starting a new career change and has some training to do. So he may call in later, but he probably won't be here next week either. And then we should get back to some kind of normalcy. So in the meantime, you get to deal with us yahoos.
What's normal?
I have no idea anymore.
Okay.
I don't think I know anymore.
That's kind of how I'm feeling these days. So
I do want to congratulate our good friend Jeremy. Put your hands together for that Cowboys offense. Yeah. That's some good stuff right there, man.
Ow.
You know the differences between Trojo and the rest of us? None of our teams lost today. How about them Cowboys? All right. Talk about that later in the show. A couple of us had really good weeks this week in the Outlaw picks. Yes. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later in the show. Yes. We'll get to that later in the show. Listen,
I'm afraid.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about. There was a shooting in California we're going to get to. Atlanta's burning to the ground. I find curiousness in the fact that it was like a week after MLK Day and they're burning down the black neighborhoods again in Atlanta. I don't really understand that, but we'll talk about that later in the show. I heard some interesting commercials today about the proposed income tax in the state of Washington.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that they're called. What are they calling it?
Excise
they're calling it an excise. Hold on. For those of you that are listening on AM that can't see me, I'm doing air quotes around the word excise tax. So we'll talk about that. And a whole bunch of other news and stuff going on. But I know, Tom, there was a big event planned here at the at the Town Square Mall Shopping Center, Barnyard Feed, and Whorehouse.
Sure.
And it didn't happen. And I know you wanted to talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit. So
no, I just, for anyone that was planning on showing up, because we've put a lot of time and love and energy into getting this thing off the ground, and it was kind of an 11th hour cancellation, and there's a whole, there's more questions than answers about why we had to cancel it. So there's going to be some investigating into stuff with the city and possible permits, but I can't see why. There's just a whole bunch of questions, and so I just wanted, if you tried to come by the first night market of 2023 at the Town Square Mall and it didn't happen, I just want to apologize to you.
Why would you need a permit?
I don't know.
Because the mall has an occupancy, right?
Right.
So I think you'd only need a permit if you were going to exceed your occupancy. Otherwise, you're already rated to have however many people are approved to be here by the fire marshal.
That is exactly why I'm confused about why the plug had to get pulled, and I'm going to go investigate.
So is the event in February still kind of on as of now?
It is on,
pending?
yes.
No, pending what you guys find out with permits and stuff, or and that'll be the singles night one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So February is going to be the singles night. That's going to be an 18 and up event. I know that our very own DJ D will be DJing that event. For your dancing pleasure.
Dennis, what kind of prep are you doing for that event? Do you, when you DJ? Because when I DJ, I don't think about it. I just show up and play stuff.
Right.
I don't care.
That's what I do too.
As long as I play Taylor Swift. Shut up. As long as I play Taylor Swift 3 times a night, everybody's happy. Do you have
you do that?
Do you have a set list? Shake it off. Shake it off.
He's
Dennis,
getting
do you
some
have
Barry White?
I have never in my life, in my entire DJ career,
played Taylor Swift?
Played Taylor Swift, let alone play Taylor Swift 3 times.
No,
that is why Dennis is my roommate.
Shake It Off is a good song at events with a lot of people.
So is All Out of Love by Air Supply, but I don't play that either.
It's not. All Out of Love by Air Supply will put people to sleep on the escalator.
No, Kevin, he's getting Barry White ready.
Oh, okay.
Picking out the best ones.
Do you have a song list you're prepping for these things? Like when you do, like in your brain, are you thinking, okay, so this event, I need some Barry White, I need some Run DMC.
I've got a lot of people going.
Michael Bolton.
We want it to be very uncouples.
Yeah.
Even though it's a singles night, sort of thing. So, I've had requests for some NWA.
Yeah, no, I remember. I was privy to.
I'm pretty sure some Too Shorts coming out.
Subconscious.
Do you know what song I'd really like you to play at the singles event night, Dennis? There's a song by the Bloodhound Gang called Chasey Lane.
Oh God!
I have that album.
Oh Lord!
Have you ever heard that song, Dennis?
I have heard that song.
So you know the words
on karaoke. Yeah.
The last line of the song is "Would you f me for blow?" So
Dennis.
Just play it. Just play it.
Just say
That's
no.
all I ask.
You should be playing the new Miley track.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys know the story
Flowers.
about
Yeah.
Flowers?
No, she has a new song.
So she has a new song, and it's
She's
actually
an awful singer.
Oh well,
I will disagree with that.
With you on this. So this song, she filmed the music video in the house that her husband rented to cheat on her with. Wore his suit that he was wearing when she cheated on her, and released it on his birthday.
Yeah, and
Boom,
wasn't
mic
it
drop.
like 14 different women that he cheated?
Yes, and it was a backwards rewrite to the Bruno Mars "If I Was Your Man" song.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was an answer.
Pretty much a mic drop song, and
I'll
it's
have to,
pretty fantastic.
She has an awful voice, though. She really does.
You think so?
Sounds like a squirrel in a blender, man. She is. No.
Now, let me throw out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I watched Billy Idol do a duet.
I saw
with
that too.
Miley Cyrus.
It was not bad.
Which was very impressive. I watched him do one with Lisa Marie Presley.
Rest in peace.
She sounded like she was already dead.
Oh,
really?
Her voice is horrible.
Was never a singer,
she inherited nothing from her father.
She was
except
never
his face.
She was never a singer. I mean, I know she
tried.
had albums. No, I know she had albums.
That Memphis song.
Yeah, but if she was not with the last name of Presley, she would have never had an album deal. Like
No.
she just wasn't a singer. It's sad. I'm sad she's gone. I feel bad anytime anybody dies, unless it's Jeffrey Epstein, who, by the way, did kill himself. But
no, he didn't.
She didn't.
Man.
She didn't have a good
Your
voice.
grounds for divorce are just growing.
Jeffrey Epstein killed himself.
Yeah,
There
but your
Clinton decided.
your radio wife here is quite the true crime whodunit fan.
Have you been listening to
so-
podcast true crime stuff about Jeffrey Epstein?
Always. I listen to true crime stuff about literally everyone. And poor Lori, when something real big comes
When
up,
something freaks her
when
out,
something
she sends it
freaks
to me.
out, I call Lori.
Do you? Okay.
This doesn't make sense.
And then
But I
I'm
listen
sitting
to-
there going, "What are you listening
Are
to?"
you listening to right now?
I listen to Datelines. That's about as
fall
far
asleep
into it
to
as I get.
Dateline.
Yeah, that's about as far as I get to it. Sean said, when I was commuting from Manette to Seattle every day, I once saw the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile enter the number 2 end of a Washington State Fair. The number 2 end of a ferry.
Nice.
I
Sean, that
see-
was awesome.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. All right,
Bravo.
so it'll be a fun show tonight. We got some topics coming up in about 11 minutes. We'll get into some local stuff. Hour number 2, we'll get into the shooting in California. We'll also talk about what's going on in Atlanta, and we'll have some football stuff in hour number 3, and all kinds of fabulous, wonderful things. So
We're gonna do some local stuff first hour.
well, yeah. Well, I think we haven't touched on local stuff in a while, and so I think we should at least acknowledge the localness that is what we do.
Well, I heard there was a local shooting here like last week.
I
And
hadn't
people
done
asked
a
if we
whole
were going to
bunch.
cover it.
I hadn't heard
I
about
was
that.
like,
Yeah.
When
there
I was here
Yeah.
last Sunday, I had to drive around to go home because a teenager was shot about 2 blocks from my house.
How
Yeah.
long
It was
ago,
all
Dennis, was it? You and I were sitting out front.
that was last week, maybe
Oh,
the
is
week
that
before.
the mailbox one?
No, there was
3 weeks ago.
no. We were sitting
But
out.
no, this is
front.
like 2 weeks at the longest.
Yeah, we were sitting
Oh,
out
okay.
front one evening, and there were a bunch of sirens we heard. And then right after that, there was a single gunshot, and it was definitely a gunshot. And then there were lots of sirens.
You guys should download 50 Radio. It's super interesting.
Is it? 50
Says
radio.
the,
It's the
true
police scanner.
crime person.
Oh, well, I have a police
Yeah,
scanner,
well,
so
then
I can
just
just
turn
turn
it
that
on.
on.
Yeah.
You know what I love about the Kitsap Sun, by the way?
No, you don't love anything about the
Nothing.
Kitsap Sun.
Not a damn thing. I went to
Um,
the Kitsap Sun's website because I thought,
F-Bomb uses the Kitsap Sun to line her parrot cages.
yes, bird cage liner. I've been calling it. It was a perfect bird cage liner for years. You might as well get some bird crap on the rest of that crap. On that, if you go to the Kitsap Sun's website, I'm going to give you the stories that are the big deal. You know, you always put your big deal stuff on the front page, right?
Right.
Okay.
Supposed
Let
to.
me give you their big deal stuff on the front page of the Kitsap Sun. Photos: Olympic boys basketball, 46, Lakes 60. So the top headline is Olympic getting their asses handed to them by Lakes, 60 to 46. South Kitsap wrestlers showing strength on verge of postseason. South Kitsap wrestling versus Rogers. Their 3 biggest stories are high school sports stories.
Mm-hmm.
3 injured after Navy vessel sinks at Bangor Base. Okay, that's news.
That one's, yeah.
I think it should probably be a bigger deal.
Yeah.
But okay, that's
That
fine.
But
Probably
it's
should have.
nobody dead. It's injured.
Yeah, but South Kitsap Wrestling is more important.
And
I would say it
4
should have come before the high school sports.
That's
stuff.
what I would have
You would
thought.
think.
And 4 Kitsap residents charged in Mason County murder.
Ooh,
That's
that's a
news.
big deal.
That's news. I think it'd be more important than high school sports, but okay. But those are their little ones on the side, right? So they have their big ones that have pictures, and they have
Right.
little ones. Those are their little ones on the side. The most important stories they have. Let me read these to you. Ready? 1, another terrible moment. Monterey Park killings revive fears of anti-Asian hate. Look, Kitsap Sun. First of all, if I want to read about the shooting in Monterey Park, I'm not going to Kitsap Sun to read it. I'm going to go to a national news outlet like CNN or bobsextoys.com, anywhere besides the Kitsap Sun. I'm just not going to go there for national stuff because all you're doing is stealing stuff off the wire, which is what everybody else has. I'd rather go somewhere where they actually have reporters on the scene and they're actually reporting about things. Secondly, let's talk about how lazy this headline is. Another terrible moment. Monterey Park killings revive fears of anti-Asian hate. The shooter was Asian, you idiots.
Well, they didn't know that till today. Was this posted today or
This was
yesterday?
posted at 2:29 p.m. this afternoon. This is why you have staff. You go, oh, holy crap. Our stuff is stupid and we should fix it. You don't leave it up. It's 8:30. It's 6 hours later. Give somebody the keys to the car and the password to the website and have them go in there and fix it. This is you guys stoking fears again.
What isn't that what the AP Wire's doing?
Well, that's what all of them are doing. But this is not what I expect out of our local newspaper and birdcage liner.
But our local birdcage liner is just, isn't it USA Today, really? In a different dress?
Yeah. But listen, why isn't the 3 injured after Navy vessel sinks at Bangor your lead story? Why is 4 Kitsap resident charged in Mason County murder not your lead story? Nobody is going to the Kitsap Sun. Anybody, David Nelson, editor-in-chief, head honcho dude, I love you. We disagree about basketball, but everything else, you're cool. But why is the Monterey Park shooting, why is that the pressing thing on the front page of the local community newspaper's website when nobody is going to read your paper to find out about a shooting in California? If you haven't updated the headline in 6 hours, then you haven't updated the story in 6 hours. I'll go get updated crap from CNN.
Do you know why they ran with that?
I don't know why.
Because it didn't cost them anything. If they're going to cover Bangor, or if they're going to cover a local shooting, they have to pay someone to go out and get the information.
But they have it, though, is my point. They have it on the front page. They just have it buried in small print.
Right.
They could have very easily thrown that as the main thing because they're supposed to be a local paper with local. Listen, if this doesn't tell you the Kitsap Sun is not your local newspaper anymore, if this doesn't tell you that really they're just a repository for national press with the occasional story, the loss of Josh Farley will hurt this community and newspapers forever. Now, he's not dead. He went on to other things. But the loss of him as a reporter in this community is going to reverberate in this town, in this county for decades. Because at least he was out there. At least I think he had the ear of people because he was covering stuff that at least mattered. Now, all the Sun is doing is punting. Oh, crap. We got to put something up on the webpage. Let's put on the webpage what everybody else is talking about because we don't have anything else to talk about. You have a Navy vessel sank at Bangor and injured 3 people. That is more of a local issue than what happened in Southern California.
But it still costs more money to go get that info.
But they already have the info.
Well,
that's my point. They already have the story. This is
they have some info, but being a local paper, they should send someone out and go get more info. But that costs money.
That would require someone to work there.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But listen, Payu Lin, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Payu Lin with the Kitsap Sun did an article on Friday about this story with a photo. And you know how long the thing is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably. Oh, I'm going to word count this. Hold on just a second, because Word will word count it. So I'm going to word count it.
Yeah, those last 3 were not paragraphs.
No, those were sentences. Those were sentences. Hold on. I'm really curious about this now. Hold on. Where's word count? Is that
180
words?
references?
Sean is guaranteeing that they just ran the Navy press release.
Word count.
Oh yeah.
So probably didn't even have to.
132 words.
Oh, I was 50 off. I gave it 180.
132 words. You guys aren't even trying anymore. You're not even pretending.
Because what's going to get them the clicks?
What would get them the clicks is if they were local.
Right. But if they're using search engine optimization, SEO, or SEO as some people call it, then Monterey Park, California is what's going to drive traffic. Traffic drives revenue in the form of advertising.
Maybe.
And subscriptions, potentially.
Maybe.
Right. Maybe.
I mean, you're right. SEO works, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of websites believe in it. But when you're trying to portray yourself as the only local daily publication in the county, when you pretend that you're trying, and I stress the word pretend, and it's not even really even trying to pretend now. Listen, this is like a dude that cheats on his wife on a daily basis, and the next day he says, "I really won't cheat on you today," and then he does it anyway. That's the Kitsap Sun. Oh, we're going to cover you guys today, and then they don't. This is a local newspaper. They're not even local anymore. So quit pretending that you are. Change your name from Kitsap Sun to the Kitsap Rehash of USA Today. Just change your name. Just be factually honest. I'd rather read stuff from the independent newspaper group at this point. And then what are they, twice weekly? Or once weekly or something? I don't know. The Porter Street Independent.
I don't know.
And the Paulsbo Times Gazette, whatever they call it, the North Kitsap Herald. I'd rather read those. Because their articles are boring, but at least they're local. Anything on here, I can go find on Como's site for free, King 5 for free, Cairo 7 for free, My Northwest for free, the Seattle Times for free, Tacoma News Tribune for free.
Nope. Back that up.
TNT has a paywall now?
TNT is paywall. You get 2 articles per month, and then you hit a paywall.
Well, there's 3 articles per month out of the Kitsap Sun, and guess what? There's not 3 articles on the Sun I want to read every month.
Wow. Remember our old tagline, Kevin?
What's that?
From back in the day?
What was that?
KITZ, your only local media source.
That's your only, and that's still true. Can we add that in the liners now? Listen, they have a video on the front page of their website where they talk about Pizza Hut believes it just broke the record for the world's largest pizza. They didn't even do it here.
Where was it?
I don't know because I can't hear the audio.
No,
but it wasn't here. A 14,000 square foot pie, by the way.
Ooh. That's a lot.
Oh, check this out. Ready? 13,600 pounds of dough, 4,900 pounds of sauce, 8,800 pounds of cheese, and 630,496 pepperoni slices. And if you wonder where Paul's at, now you know. All right. We're going to take a break. Listen, please, Kitsap Sun, just change your name. You're no longer the Kitsap Sun. I'm sorry. You're the the USA Today in miniature form,
or
USA
Yahoo News as
Sean,
been shared.
Yeah, yeah. It's ridiculous. It's very sad. I used to work there, It's part of why I'm so bitter about it. Anyway, Outlaw Radio. We come back. We'll actually get into some topics after this. You're listening to Mega Talk, Outlaw Radio. OutlawRadio.com. Get some swag. Facebook, 2 minutes. All right, so check this out. I'm going to read the story. This is what the Kitsap Sun wrote about the boat, the vessel that sank.
Which is also word for word on Yahoo News.
Yeah. 3 sailors were injured when a small Navy boat crashed Thursday evening at Naval Base Kitsap Bangor. A small naval vessel operating on the perimeter of the Naval Base Kitsap Bangor struck a security barrier and sank around 7:20 p.m. on Thursday, Naval Base Kitsap said in a press release issued Friday afternoon. 3 sailors were injured in the incident and were sent to a local medical facility with non-life-threatening injuries. The crew members made a distress call after the collision, and another naval vessel came to recover the boat from the water, the Navy said. There have been no indications of a fuel leak or impact to the environment, according to the press release. The incident is under investigation, and Naval Base Kitsap personnel continue to monitor the situation, the Navy said on Friday. So what they did was they got the press release, they moved a couple words around, they didn't interview anybody, they didn't make a phone call, they didn't say anything about anything. They just took the press release, moved some words around, and then uploaded it to their website and said, "This is one of your 3 free articles." This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous is what this is. This is not even news reporting. Listen, if you want to save yourself a subscription to the Kitsap Sun, I recommend you go to the school districts and sign up for their press releases. Then you go to the Navy and sign up for their press releases. And go to anywhere else that might have press releases and just sign up for them. You'll get them for free in the mail. And you'll save yourself in your email. And you'll save yourself the money of a subscription to the Kitsap Sun, which is just going to take the exact same press release, flip a couple words around, pop it up on their website, and charge you whatever asinine amount they charge for the crap they post.
I think it's $1.99 a week, so I wouldn't really call
coming
it
back.
I can get 3 months for $1, and it's not even worth that. Back after this.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio Network. K-Dog, Black Tom, Lori, Boss Baby, DJD.
We're back.
I'm gonna bust that joke out. Can I get breaking news music?
Oh no.
I'm gonna break that joke out at Paul's expense. I hope he's listening.
Uh-oh.
I haven't seen that.
All right, we got breaking news. Scientists have just announced they're trying to kill cancer by injecting the herpes virus into cancer cells. So congratulations, if you've had sex with Paul, you might be cured for cancer. Anyway, sorry, Paul.
Kevin's news does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Outlaw Radio Network and its personnel or the health code.
Sorry. Just makes me giggle.
What?
I love talking smack about Paul when he's not here because he can't defend himself. He can't defend himself when he's here either. But yes, Tom,
be kind. So you're all joking aside.
Yes,
you're all joking about Paul because it's going to turn into a joke. I do. Is that like a real life game of would you rather? Do you want to have cancer or do you want to have herpes?
Oh my God.
Hold on.
Because you can get us a prescription for Valtrex.
You can't. And listen, the cool thing, hold on. Here's the cool thing about Valtrex.
No, there's no cool thing about herpes meds.
Because
okay?
every single time I see a commercial about Valtrex, they're riding bicycles or they're hiking or they're kayaking or they're skiing or they're boating. Yeah. So clearly, if you get herpes and you take Valtrex, you suddenly do a lot of cool stuff. It's like you become a Make-A-Wish kid or something. You get the world is your oyster. Anyway,
oh my God.
They call it a clam, not an oyster.
Oh, wow.
Depending on what gender you choose to be.
Hey, so here's the news, and this isn't really Kitsap County-ish, but I think it is.
We're off the rails.
I think it is important for us to talk about. And by the way, if anything makes you think of herpes, this next story will. Sharma Sawant has announced that she's not running for re-election on the Seattle City Council.
Correct.
She announced it on Thursday. She was at a news conference at New Hope Baptist Church. She said that she plans to launch a national organization called Worker Strike Back. It's dedicated to building class struggle. I don't think class struggle needs any building. I think it's doing just fine. But you go, Sharma. This is her quote. This is now the 10th year that I've had the honor to serve as an elected representative of Seattle's working people. Workers in Seattle, through getting organized alongside my Socialist City Council office and my organization, Socialist Alternative, have won historic victories, such as the $15 an hour minimum wage, the Amazon tax, and the landmark renters' rights. These victories have set a powerful example that has had a national and even international impact. A food security advocate named Joy Hollingsworth, she built her family's sustainable cannabis farm. She had announced days before that she was going to challenge Sawant in the race, and now Sawant has. Now I don't know if one has anything to do with the other. I would love to say I'm sad to see her go, but I'm not.
I don't think anyone is.
I'm sad to have saw her at all.
Yeah. The issues in Seattle, and again, people, you guys will say, well, this isn't local, but it is local because a lot of people that live in Kitsap work in Seattle, commute to Seattle, go to Seattle.
Bingo.
The challenges that Seattle faces, the safety issues, the traffic issues, the homeless issues, the drug issues. Did I say the homeless issues? The drug issues? What?
Safety.
Safety issues. The lack of police and staffing and inability to recruit. Much of that can be traced back to the movement that Sharma was not only involved in, but was a major driving force in. And it is that political agenda and I'm the Democrat in the room, it is that political agenda that is spilled out into every single corner of this state. It is why Jay Inslee held the power that he held for so very long, because people have just quit caring. It's why the homeless population is as large as it is. It's why drugs are rampant. It's why bodies are piling up in the morgues because of fentanyl overdoses. It's because of the agenda put forth, not by the Democrats, but by far left socialist Democrats that have completely gone off the rails. And I'm totally fine with social programs and social safety nets and welfare when it's necessary and unemployment and Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and all that. Totally cool with all of that within reason.
Within reason.
Within reason.
Yes.
Within reason.
Yep.
But what Sharma Sawant and her ilk have done is they have taken all what we would consider baseline Democrat Party ideas and carry them so much further than they ever should have gone. And Seattle is a fine example of what happens when those agendas go overboard.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, boss baby.
I have the list of all the new laws that went into effect in January, and the homeless have one on there. Minimum wage now $15.74 per hour. Workers 14 or 15 can be paid $12.32
Is
an
that
hour.
state? Are these state
This
laws
one
or
is
city of
state.
Seattle? Okay.
This one's state, but for
15
for Seattle specifically, minimum wage has increased to $18.69 per hour for businesses employing 501 or more people.
So hold on, how much is it?
$18.69 an hour.
Amazing.
Almost $20 freaking dollars an hour.
Let me put that into perspective. Okay.
In Tukwila, it is 1906.
Yeah.
Or SeaTac. Yeah.
Let me put this into perspective, folks. And I hate to be the voice of reason. Suck it, Paul. I hate to be the voice of reason. But what we're doing is we are pricing ourselves out of a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's why I moved back out of King County.
Everybody who makes minimum wage thinks it's a good idea. $19 an hour. That's perfect.
It's terrible.
No.
Well, no, I'm saying what they think.
No.
$19 an hour. That's perfect. I could afford $19 an hour. That'll help me make my car payment and pay my rent to my little flat and all that good stuff. And you're right, it will today.
Yep.
It won't.
In 2 weeks, it won't.
Yeah, it won't in 2 years.
It won't in 2 weeks or 2 months. 2 months is probably more realistic.
Yeah, but it won't. And then the minimum wage will have to go up again, because the minimum wage is not a static number that is just magically created out of somebody's anus and just shows up one day to save the day. The costs associated with raising the minimum wage trickle up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
That's why I can't hire anybody.
Yeah, let me give you an example.
I can't either.
Exactly.
You want to buy a gallon of milk. Gallon of milk, $2.50, theoretically. Okay. You go to Safeway for that gallon of milk. Well, now you have increased the cost of everybody that works at Safeway. The stockers, the checkers, the warehouse people, the delivery people, all of them. And by the way, when they were making $15 an hour, there were other people there that were making $18.75 an hour because they'd been there 3, 4, 5 years and they'd earned their raises to make it up that far. Well, now you've increased everybody's to $18.75. What are you going to do to the people that were making $18.75 before? You better be jacking up their prices to reward the fact that they've been there as long as they have and they earn the merit wages. So where do all those costs go? Well, they go back to the consumer. The gas delivery people are going to raise the cost of that. The milk delivery people are going to raise the cost of that gallon of milk 10 cents. Safeway is going to raise it another 10 cents. The gas refineries and gas delivery and drivers are all going to have to adjust their prices.
I wish it was just 10 cents.
No, hold on.
A gallon of milk's
but bear with me.
But it's
Right.
10 cents per little
Per little put,
Per
right?
increment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 10 cents because of the folks at Safeway, 10 cents because of the folks at the dairy farm that do the delivery, 10 cents because of the people that have that run the gas, and now have to sell the gas. Well, that 10 cents is passed on then to the people who buy the gas that are delivering the stuff, and now they got to pass on another 3 cents to make up for the. Does this make sense to anybody?
No.
It does not make sense to the people earning that wage.
It doesn't, because they're young, dumb, and stupid.
Yes.
And listen, I know,
instead of stupid, say inexperienced.
Stupid.
They eat
No,
that
stupid,
better.
stupid,
They swallow that better.
Listen,
though.
stupid. You just don't know any better. You're dumb.
Yes.
You're dumb. You don't know any better.
But
I know that Holly's going to come into chat
on Tuesday.
And Holly, I love when you comment, but I can't read your comments. Because the only way I can read your comment is to rewatch the entire show, and I will listen to the show, but I cannot rewatch the entire show because I have a day job and all the other stuff. So it just tells me you left a comment, but I can't go look at the comment because it doesn't show up unless I watch the show in its entirety in order.
It's just
and I
out
don't
of
have time for that.
context. Yeah. Because I've gone and looked them up too, but they're completely out of context.
What I'd like you to do, Holly, is if you actually private message me your comment about what we're talking about. Say, you guys said this and my comment is this. I will respond to you and I'll bring it up on the next show. But I can't do that because I can't see it. But I know that people are going to chime in and go, that's not realistic, Kevin. People need to make a livable wage. I totally agree with you.
Then get educated.
People should work, should earn a livable wage. But you don't fix the livable wage by increasing the wages. You fix the livable wage by fixing the issues that led to the inflation in the first place, that led to driving things up. And now all you're doing is contributing to the driving of things up. That apartment, that studio flat in Seattle. There were studio flats in Seattle by the steps. Do you know what steps I'm talking about? That's right next to, that's right there on First, the really nice steps, and there's restaurants and stuff right there.
I mean the Harbor Steps?
Harbor Steps, thank you.
Yep.
Studio flats were $2,200 a month for a studio flat.
Downtown Bothell. Still King County because Bothell is split. I left because I was going to be charged $3,000 for 1 month's rent.
Yeah.
For a studio, I did not even have a bedroom door.
Yep. And those Harbor Steps,
whoa,
what are they going to be in 2 years? They're not going to be 2,200. They may not be 2,200 now.
Yeah.
I haven't walked down there and looked around since I had to go back to the office after COVID. But what are they going to be? They're not going to be 2,200 anymore. They're going to raise. Why? Because everything else is going to go up.
Oh yeah,
your property tax is going to go up. The cost to be down there is going to grow up. The cost to shop is going to go up. I mean, you are outpricing yourself.
Yes.
And if you want an example of how these policies work, please go look at North Chicago or South Chicago. Go look at Detroit.
Go look in New York.
Go look in parts of New York.
Yeah.
Parts of Ohio.
Go to King County Housing Authority, where if you are making $95,000 a year or less, you qualify for Section 8 housing. Listen to that again. $95,000 a year or less. You too can live in Section 8 housing.
Yeah.
And my townhouse, the reason why I moved is they announced to me that they were going to raise the rent on my townhouse, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,700 square feet, 2-story with a 2-car garage from $2,600 to $3,600.
Yeah.
Where was that?
And they in Kent, just south of Seattle.
Yep.
And because it was so close in, they were like, yeah, we'll give you like 2 months a heads up.
Yeah.
And I was like, forget that.
And do you know why
I'm
they can
out.
do that? Do you know why they can do that? Because of the housing crisis.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough homes to go around. So
Right.
they can. I have a piece of property that I'm managing for my nephew under a trusteeship that we're going to get remodeled. And I know that house is a 2-bedroom house with a living room, kitchen, and a full dining room and a garage. That house should probably rent for $1,700 a month. In a real normal world, 2-bedroom, small backyard. I can get 25 to 27 for it. That's insane. I mean, I'm going to, but that's insane. I have a responsibility to do right by his fiscal stuff, but
right.
It's nuts. It's maddening, man. All right, stick around. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's Outlaw Radio.
Facebook.
Outlaw Radio. All right, we're on Facebook.
I know how to fix it.
Anybody need to swear since we're on internet only?
I could just for general principle.
Just check. I just wanted to ask.
Fuck all the elites in Davos. There we go.
Trey said it's because they want you dependent on the government. It's all about control.
Yep. You're right, Trey.
Hold on. I hate that argument though. Like like, listen, this is the mental picture I get. A whole bunch of people in a boardroom around a big round table going, how can we get them dependent on us? I have a hard time believing that's what happens.
Hello?
I really believe.
Davos?
How is this not? How do you not know this actually happens?
Yeah.
That they sit around and talk about how we can rely.
Forum at Davos was this week. Yeah. How do you not know this?
Every business in the world.
I just don't know. I just have a hard time believing that they sit around a table and they're like, how can we make people dependent upon the government?
Do you know what Tom and his cohorts do? How can we make people dependent on Black Ring Spirits? Literally, that's marketing. That is literally marketing. They're all trying to get you dependent on them.
Yeah. Even Elon Musk is buying into the messaging and using some of the messaging.
But I don't
Boobs do that too.
I don't have issues with businesses doing that because that's marketing and design and smart creativity. If you're a business, the government should not be in that mode. The government should not be designing
does a lot of things they shouldn't.
Well, that's true. Mm-hmm. That's very true.
All right, coming back.
Outlaw Radio.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio. I'll just give you a hint.
A hint at what? I didn't know we
you
were
should
guessing
go to
anything.
outlawradionetwork.com and order some cool swag. You can do that.
Like some boxers.
Go to outlawradionetwork.com. Check out the cool swag. We got the yoga pants. We got the boxers. Do we have a G-string thong yet on the website?
No.
No? Okay.
Those are harder to get than you might.
Harder to find adequate sourcing.
Yes.
That and the banana hammock.
I want a banana hammock. All right.
It's going to have my face on it if you do.
Hey, listen.
Wow. I don't know how I feel about that.
Really?
All right. Wow.
Well, it's okay. You and all your other women are gonna enjoy that.
Stop that. That's not necessary.
I don't think you cheat on your wife.
I don't cheat on my wife.
This is radio wife.
There's no other women in the studio. My radio wife, and there's no other women here. That I mean,
I was gonna say I'm a woman.
Like, Lori's here.
You're just digging a big hole.
Anything I do just digs the hole deeper. I think I'll shut up. Hey, I wanted to talk about the thing that's going on in Tenino.
Yes. Thank you.
Heidi Hot Sauce has been a very strong voice against this. So let me explain what I know and as I know it.
Yep.
The Department of Social and Health Services is in charge of supervising the worst of the worst, as they've been called. These are sexual offenders that are deemed a high risk to reoffend. They're a high risk to the community, and they have been, quote, civilly committed. Now, civilly committed means they go to jail. They do all their time in jail. They serve their time. The state then, when they're ready to leave jail before they get out, the state makes a decision that says, you guys are really, really dangerous folks. You do not get to be released. We're going to civilly commit you. And they essentially lock them into McNeil Island.
Correct.
Which is an island.
Literally.
And they leave them there indefinitely. Okay. The Department of Social and Health Services has decided they're going to move them, some of them, off McNeil Island, and they're going to move them to different parts of the state. And the first place that they've decided on is this area down near Tenino.
Just outside of Olympia.
Just outside of Olympia. Why they're not next door to Jay Inslee's house is beyond me, but still.
Which house?
All of them.
Bainbridge.
Because he does have one on Brain Dead Island.
It'd be great if his house had like 6 houses circling them that were all filled by the habitual reoffenders. So
I'm guessing most of them aren't interested in him.
No. Although remember, he was the sexy grandpa presidential candidate back in 2000. Do you remember that back in 2020 when he ran for president? Because there was a whole bunch of posts on social media about how he was the sexy dad candidate or whatever. And I'm like, I would hit him with a bus.
Another sexy daddy?
Yeah.
Stroller meat.
Ladies, remember, if you call your boyfriend or husband daddy, that's just weird.
Hashtag stroller meat.
Anyway, DSHS has gone out of their way to try to keep this under wraps. They have not notified local officials in Thurston County or in the neighboring cities of their plan. They've just tried to keep it a little secret. And unfortunately, you can't do that. So the lady in charge of it, whose name escapes me, and doesn't matter, held a public hearing, didn't answer a lot of questions. Glenn Morgan did a really good video about this if you get a chance to go check it out. Here's my questions. One, and I'm not sticking up for them, I question the legality and the constitutionality of leaving somebody indefinitely committed. If the sentencing guidelines are set forth by the state, and the state says this is the range for what you'd get if you're convicted of this crime, then I would have thought that at the end of those guidelines, they would have to be released. I'm not advocating for them to be released, and I'm not sticking. I'm asking the constitutional question: is it even legal constitutionally for them to hold them indefinitely without a release date? And I feel like this entire thing could be fixed if they change the sentencing guidelines. Because then you wouldn't. I'm sorry. Then you wouldn't have to civilly commit them. If you said if you do this crime, or this crime, or if you have this many prior felony convictions before you do this crime, or this crime, you are detained for life, no parole. Then that would make sense. It would take DSHS out of the equation. Right. It would hold them it would hold them for the rest of their lives, regardless, in a state prison, which is not going to release them to a halfway house near a community. It would seem to me that would be the quickest, easiest fix for this. And again, I still question the constitutionality, because the Constitution talks about, double jeopardy and, inhumane punishment and all that stuff. And I wonder about that's the first thing. The second thing I wonder about is why there's a need to get them off of McNeil Island in the first place. The state has not given any clarity to this. There's rumors that they want to do some stuff out there with agricultural stuff or some other stuff or whatever it is. I've heard there's some medical treatment stuff that may go out there or whatever. I don't know, but I wonder why you're taking them off of McNeil Island.
Well, the Fed owns that land. So Washington State is leasing that land from the federal government.
So maybe the feds have a plan for something.
Maybe.
Yeah. Plus, it's $186,000 per year for each civilly committed person.
Sure. So they're inmates.
To take care of them.
But, well, isn't it going to be, I thought it was supposed to be transitional stuff for people that were done with their sentence.
Yeah.
What? No. So civil commitment is civil commitment.
Yeah.
Civil commitment is you are here probably till you die.
Yep.
Now, do you know why?
Because they've committed some really, really heinous crimes.
Right. And
against women, against children. They've got multiple offenses, multiple convictions. I'm not sticking up for them.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong.
No. So what's happened? So Lori and I did some homework into this.
Why do you research for the show? Yeah. Making me look bad.
Show prep.
Go ahead.
So, before we went on the air, when it was Lori and I discussing this thing, what was that? A week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I've slept
a
between
week ago.
then and
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So it turns out that we both have some experience in our past dealing with mental health issues and commitment around mental health issues. No, it was not her health or my health that was
right.
Part of
Family.
that. Yeah.
Family members.
So if you are in Washington State, if you are considered a danger to yourself, to others, or you are gravely disabled, and gravely disabled just means that you cannot make day-to-day normal decisions like I can't cross the street safely because I'll get run over by a bus. I'm gravely disabled. If you are Mirandized by a designated mental health professional, as long as it goes through due process with the courts and such, it's a stepped thing. They can hold you for 72 hours, and then 72 hours can become 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks can become, I don't remember what it is, 3 months, I think, and then 3 months can go up from there. So as long as these people are showing signs of the mental condition that got them put on McNeil Island in the first place, then they're not deemed safe to return to society. And it's a mental health thing, not a criminal thing.
Right. But my argument would be that if you sentence someone under state law for a crime they have committed, and they reach the end of that sentence, is it constitutionally legal to continue to hold them for an indefinite period through civil commitment? And again, I'm not advocating for them to be released. I just let's own the Constitution for what it is, right? You don't get to leg hump the Constitution. I don't mean you guys. You don't get to leg hump the Constitution when it suits your agenda or your plan or your political platform. But when it doesn't, then you can just ignore it and pretend like it doesn't exist. I mean, let's own the Constitution for what it is.
Right.
I question if this is constitutional.
What about the survivors or the survivors' families? What about them?
I think,
what about their rights? I mean, they had something taken from them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think the fix in this is fixing the sentencing guidelines.
I agree.
And not civil commitment. I think the fix in this is getting sentencing guidelines extended, especially on the most heinous of heinous of heinous, especially people who have multiple convictions and continue to reoffend and recidivate. Then you add qualifiers or magnifiers in there.
But this is no different than someone, say a violent schizophrenic. Right, someone who is just mentally completely debilitated.
Sure.
Right, and they're prone to violence. You can't let them go in society. They're a danger to others. Right, so those people are also civilly committed. Now they're not being held in they're not being incarcerated in cages like prison. They're being housed in dormitory style facilities because they're no longer being punished. They've served their criminal sentence. Now they're just being held for mental health reasons.
I get you. I understand that. I don't equate the two. I don't think I believe that sex offenders are some protected class of people suffering from mental health issues. I think that mental health could play into it, but I think there's degenerate behavior. I think it's as mental health-ish as it is somebody who continually gets busted for burglary or continually gets busted for assault. There's a switch broken that says I'm just going to continue to break the law and disrespect and hurt other people, and I don't care what it is. Mental health might come into it, but I don't think it's the only defining factor.
I would agree with that, but I think this group on McNeil Island is probably that very extreme fringe edge that mental health is a huge part of why their behavior is so heinous. So honestly, I think the idea of a mental health, civil confinement is totally acceptable.
Yeah.
And if they're under the care and guidance of doctors that can say, okay, this person's been rehabilitated, well, now we have to figure out what to do with them.
Well, the other part of this though is them releasing people into Tenino and into communities.
Right. And that's where the doctor comes in and says, this person has been rehabilitated and we have to release them now. Well,
but see, these guys aren't rehabilitated and getting released that way. They're getting put into a group home.
Right.
Nothing scares me more. Let's get 5 really violent, really highly likely to offend sexual predators and put them in a home together.
In a small community. With
not,
no services.
Not far from a daycare.
Yep. No services. And not only that.
And again, hold on. I want to say this. We're not talking about sex offenders.
Right.
We're talking about the really, 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 really bad members of the sex offender group. Like if you were to put them on a continuum, right? These are the ones that are all the way off the continuum. Correct. Okay. And you're going to put 5 of them together in a house with somebody who makes, I think as Glenn Morgan said, probably $15 an hour to keep an eye on him.
Not anymore. $18.69.
Well, I don't know. This is in Thurston County. So
Thurston County, $15
probably
an hour.
$9 an hour because it's a lot of sheep farmers down there.
No, the Washington one went up to like 15 whatever. It's the Seattle one that was like
15.74. Yeah.
So you're still above 15 or $16 an hour.
And they only have to have a high school diploma or a GED. They have 3 days of training at the most?
That's what Glenn Morgan said. I believe Glenn Morgan, but I haven't vetted what he said.
Oh no, I watched the videos of the first community meeting.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was going off of what Glenn Morgan said.
Yeah. And they won't have 24/7 monitoring. They won't have anybody on site monitoring.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. If I'm the folks in Tenino, I'm pissed.
Oh yeah.
I'm really, really mad.
And they should be.
And I think Jay Inslee's office should step in and put a hold on it until they can figure out the logistics for it. But he won't, because he's ineffective and a dimwit. Outlaw Radio, top of the hour news is next. Some national topics coming up after that. Stay tuned, Outlaw Radio.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Facebook, top of the hour.
You need to watch Ex Machina.
Yeah, Dennis just sent over an article about the first robot strippers in Vegas. I'm disturbed.
Clean up on aisle 1 will be easier.
There's two things. No, it'll be hydraulic fluid. Listen,
I wasn't talking about that, but
there's two things. I'm ignoring you.
I know you are.
There's two things in the world that I don't understand.
Two?
I don't understand strippers.
Women in general.
Well, okay. Outside of that,
things.
I don't understand strippers, and I don't understand porn.
Okay.
I don't understand either one of those things.
Okay.
I don't understand why you would go to a strip club and pay money for a lap dance so you can go home by yourself. I don't understand.
They pay for more than that.
Hmm?
And I said I believe they pay for more than that. And
Well, not legally they don't. I mean, illegally.
Depends on your location.
Well, if you're in Vegas, you can go to the Bunny Ranch and go whatever you want, I guess. But
is that not what we're talking about? Vegas?
no, I'm just talking about in general, right? We used to do back in the day when the main stage was still open in Gorst. It was a strip club in Gorst.
Oh.
And it's now a roofing.
Wait,
it's now
wait.
a roofing. It's now a roofing
That
store.
was a strip club.
Yeah, that roofing store in Gorst. On the right as you're leaving Gorst heading towards Bremerton. Yeah. Don't go in there
That
with
was
the
a
black light.
strip club for decades.
Yeah, don't go in there with a black light.
Well, it's probably safe now. I think they stripped all the sheetrock out.
I'm not sure if
I
you could
doubt
ever
it.
get that out. Anyway,
yeah, that's like saying to fly over Elmo's with a black light.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
But we used to do shows
I don't
down there.
want
They
to.
paid for us to when we had a late night show during the week. They paid for us to come do live remotes down there, and we go down there once a week and do a live remote down there. And I thought, and I would never say it, right? They're a paying advertiser.
Right. Yeah.
I'm there to help benefit their business. That's what I do.
Mhm.
But I'm in my brain thinking this is the stupidest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pay whatever they charge for a lap dance for some girl who just got done riding some other guy to come ride my lap with no shot of coming home with me to tell me how wonderful she thinks I am until she takes my money and then go move on to ride some other guy's lap. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I think it's the stupidest thing in the world. And porn is the exact same thing. Oh, I want to watch porn so I can get myself all hot and bothered and then be alone. Porn's not even realistic. If porn was realistic, the guy'd be married. He'd have to check some things off of his honey-do list.
And the videos would be much shorter.
No. The videos would be way longer.
Have a good time.
The videos would be way longer because it would show him doing all the stuff he had to do for the wife just to get her in the mood. And then the actual sex part would be like 10 minutes tops. And then it would show them both rolling over and going to sleep.
No, they have to cuddle at the end.
Sorry.
Tom,
5
I don't
minutes.
know your deal, but
Oh man.
Remember, I love you is get out.
Who's
I
sleeping in the wet spot?
I don't judge anybody who's into those things. I really don't. I was in the military. I knew a lot of guys who went to strip clubs all the time when I was in San Diego. I get it. It's fine. You do you, boo. You're an adult. You live your adult life. I just see very, very little point in either one of those things.
And some people like that part of their lizard brain lit up, I guess.
No, and I'm not knocking it. I mean, again, I'm not saying it should be legal or illegal. I'm not trying to take away anything from anybody else.
Right. No,
I just don't get it.
I'm just explaining. I think it's something in the lizard brain somewhere that
and
people just
prostitution
enjoy.
should be legal.
1 minute.
Agreed there.
Prostitution should be legal. 2 consenting adults making a business transaction. I wouldn't do it because I don't want to come home with something. But
yeah, should have been. Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get herpes and be cured from cancer forever.
No cancer for you.
But I'm just saying. I mean, those are those 2 adults making the transaction. But Yeah, no, I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I'm old. Get off my lawn. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do some national stuff, including that shooting in Southern California. And I'm going to tell you why it happened. Stick around. Outlaw Radio. We're back after this.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
This country gets knocked down in one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
You do your work, and we will do our best.
Republic. I like the sound of it. Means people can live free, talk free, go or come by or sell, be drunk or sober, however they choose.
Are you ready to be who you are?
No poetry, just a straight answer.
The government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
We are men of the hood, very now at your expense.
But there's no both sides anymore. They're just trying to wreck our goddamn country. It's time for you younger guys to take over it.
You were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
If you guys don't start thinking as men, we're going to have a lousy country.
For the crimes of incitement to cause unrest, I decline to be an outlaw.
All right, it's the Outlaw Radio Network. Thanks for checking out the show. We appreciate it. Be sure to check us out online at outlawradionetwork.com. Check out the swag. Check out the past shows. Someday we'll have a blooper reel up there, too. That'll be fun. K-Dog, Black Tom, Lori, Boss Baby, and DJD. St. Paul is on assignment. And will hopefully be joining us soon. Not tonight, soon. Like next week, maybe soon. So thanks, everybody, for checking out the show. How y'all doing tonight? Everybody doing good?
Yeah.
Everybody wide-eyed and bushy-tailed?
Yeah.
I feel marvelous.
The energy level in here is like...
Bitch
You guys okay? You guys all right?
You either get 0 or 100. With me, there's no in between.
I'd like 100 then. Can I get the 100 from you, Boss Baby?
Do you really want 100? I doubt you actually want 100.
Hey, listen, I want to open this hour with a conversation about what happened in California on Saturday night. First, I'm going to read some information. This is off of the CNN website, and we'll talk about it a little bit. As always, if you're interested, if you have comments you want to send to us and you're not catching the show live, you can certainly send it to us on our Facebook page. Just search Facebook for Outlaw Radio Network. If you find us on Twitter, you can comment as well. You can find me. Did you guys know that I'm on Twitter, by the way? Yeah, you can just look for K-Dog the Outlaw on Twitter. So be sure to look me up. You can send me messages. We'd love to hear from you. Anyway, I'm going to read this off of CNN, then we'll break it down a little bit. So they announced on Sunday that the suspect was a 72-year-old man, a 72-year-old Asian man. And I bring that up only because earlier in the day, there were reported repeated news stories about how this was supporting anti-Asian hate. And then it turned out it was an Asian guy that did it. So I don't think the Asian hate angle plays well right now. Anyway, the 72-year-old man was cornered by police and killed himself when he was being approached by police in a parking lot. But here's what we know. The shooting on Saturday night at almost 10:30 local time, 10 people were killed, 5 men, 5 women, at least 10 others were injured. 7 of the wounded remain hospitalized as of Sunday night. The suspect was a 72-year-old man. He was found dead with self-inflicted gunshot wounds after a standoff in Torrance, California. After he did the initial shooting where he killed the 10 people, he went to a second location at a dance studio in Alhambra, where he was disarmed by a group of people that were there before he could use the weapon.
Oh.
Police are trying to find motives, kind of a reason why. We do know that he met his ex-wife at the location where he killed the 10 people, although she was not there. She was interviewed by media sources afterwards. People who were there knew him as a regular at that dance place that he had shot up, so he was not unknown to them. This is not like an isolated stranger danger incident, right?
Right.
Where like somebody walked into the gay nightclub and shoots up the place because they hate gay people.
Right.
This guy clearly, at least in my opinion, I'm not an expert, shut up. But it seemed like he had an issue with that venue specifically because of some perceived wrongdoing or some perceived slight or something. This may turn out like the Vegas shooting where you never really know why it happened. You just know that it did. So maybe he left a note or a letter or an email or something.
Have they released names?
They've released his name.
But not the victims.
Not as of Sunday night. Not as of Sunday night. I will tell you that I will not say his name because I don't believe in ever saying the names of people.
Thank you. I agree. Totally.
Yeah.
Perpetrate.
So...
the first thing that gets me is the headline on this about how it's supposed to be more racial disparity towards Asians, whatever. But I think Boss Baby can back me up on this. But if I'm not mistaken, there's a statistic that when it comes to murders, most murders are committed by someone. Most victims are killed by someone of the same race.
Correct.
I haven't seen stats to that, but I would agree.
I think that's a pretty accurate statistic.
I'll look up the stats right now.
And most murders in this country are still committed by people who knew their assailant, right? I mean, these mass shootings are scary, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for us to just turn a blind eye and act like it never happened, but a majority of murders are done by someone that people knew, and it's usually a domestic partner. I would argue you would have more success in stopping murders if you stopped letting people get married and live together. Then listen. Then you would if you passed more gun reform laws. Right? Because the majority of murders happen from people that are intimate with each other. So if you just stop people from being intimate with each other, you'd have a much better shot of stopping murders than you would if you pass more gun control measures. I'm not advocating for either one of them. I'm just saying that it seems nonsensical to me to say, hey, let's pass more gun laws. Because clearly, if the 72-year-old guy that killed 10 people at the dance studio, if there was one more gun law out there, he might have thought twice before he got a gun and killed 10 people.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure in the 5 minutes, he lived 5 minutes from the studio where the shooting was. I'm sure in that 5 minutes, he would have gone, holy crap, they just passed a new gun law. I mean, I knew I was going to murder 10 people or hurt 10 more people, but that extra gun law, man, that makes it's not going to matter. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
The stats are overwhelmingly if the race of the victim and the race of the offender are the same. Like, huge, like 80 something percent, 90%.
Yeah.
And Kevin, to your point you tried to make the other day, which was very wrong, males way outweigh women. Male killers way outweigh women killers.
That's because women are playing the long game.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Visine in their coffee.
Well, that, I mean, when you go and look at aggressive traits of people, yes, there's aggressive women out there, but if you take the most aggressive woman on a spectrum, she's not going to be anywhere near as aggressive as maybe a moderately aggressive man. Right? I mean, she may be more aggressive than someone who's very mild-mannered, but when you get into the discussion of aggression, the most aggressive males, the ones that end up in jail and prison. I mean, those far outweigh.
Yeah. So let me explain this. Okay. I'm going to tell you what caused the shooting. And I'm going to tell you what's caused nearly every single mass shooting in this country. And I'd like you guys to take notes and write this down, because not you guys, my team in here are perfect, but you listening at home, take notes and write it down, because there will be a quiz later.
Ooh.
I'm going to tell you what is the single biggest factor in every single one of these mass shootings.
Okay.
Every single one of them.
Pick me.
Do you know what it is?
I have a guess.
Are you going to try to take away my thought? Okay, go ahead.
No,
What's your guess?
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to hear you. I want to hear. I want to see if. What do you think it is?
I think the place a person lives, the more strict the laws are on firearms and ammunition and availability of all those things, the more likely it is that there's going to be a shooting.
You're on the right track. Gun-free zones.
No, soft target. Yeah.
Gun-free zones. You want to guarantee mass shootings, mass casualties? Gun-free zones. Look at what we've seen. We've seen mass shootings at schools. We've seen mass shootings at bars. We've seen mass shootings at clubs. We've seen mass shootings at disco halls or dance halls, which is where this last one happened. All of them, gun-free zones.
Yep.
Do you know where you don't see mass shootings? You don't see them at rodeo events.
Nope. Sure don't.
Probably don't see them in Texas very often.
Well, no, Uvalde.
Well, Uvalde.
Yeah.
I said very often. Yeah. I said very often.
But listen, you don't see them in places where people are allowed to carry.
Right.
And the simple reason for that is because the dimwit that's going to go shoot up a place knows that nobody else there is going to be carrying. And they'll be unimpeded. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'll give you a really bad example. If a guy wants to go hit on chicks, he's going to go somewhere with the least resistance, right? More girls, less guys, better opportunity, right?
Yep.
It's about the least resistance.
So where's he going?
If a guy is going to a bar and there's more guys than girls, more resistance, he's not going to go there because he's not going to have any luck.
He's going to go to a crocheting circle.
Well, yeah, that's what I want. A whole bunch of cat ladies crocheting. It is the exact same thing with the gun
middle
thing.
finger salute came out on
The,
that one.
the least resistance.
But boss baby, you're not a cat lady. You have a dog.
Yeah, you
I
have a
know,
dog.
but I knit.
You have a dog.
Yeah, but he said crochet.
I said crochet.
Oh, okay.
Like that's so much different. Like
the
he knows
thing is,
the
I
difference.
don't believe he knows the difference. I know the difference. I don't believe he does.
Stitch 1, purl 2, stitch 1, purl 3. Okay.
That's also no.
What we need to do today as a nation is get rid of gun-free zones.
I agree.
I'm not saying we encourage people to carry guns in those zones. I'm not saying we give Jimmy a 9mm and send him to first grade. That's not what I'm saying.
Sounds funny though.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm suggesting, though, is we stop earmarking places
right
as perfect targets.
Right. Because we're putting a big bullseye right there.
We put
come
signs.
Come here.
There's signs. I used to live in West Bremerton right by Naval Avenue Elementary, and I'm sure all the other schools in Bremerton have the same thing. I just didn't live by them. I didn't see them. But there are signs outside of Naval Avenue Elementary that say gun-free zone.
Yep.
You are proclaiming to people, by the way, nobody here can defend themselves from your crazy ass.
Yep.
And as long as we might as well shine spotlights to let people know where our most vulnerable populations are so they know where to go prey on people. I'm not saying everybody should be able to carry a gun there. I'm not saying that we need to be irresponsible in our gun laws. I think some gun laws make sense. None of the gun laws we're passing now do.
That's a pretty
universal background checks. I'm fine with. I know that the people that own this radio station probably are not. We might disagree on that.
I am not.
They've never told me what I can or can't talk about, and I'm a huge supporter of gun rights. But I can understand the argument for universal background checks. Oh, you're a convicted felon of violent crimes. Yeah, you can't have a gun. Okay, fine. I can compromise on that. But this idea that we're going to name places as fabulous spots to inflict carnage. And we're basically going to say, knock yourselves out. And we're going to show inept police procedures like what we saw in Uvalde.
Yeah.
And what is the point? It's time to get rid of gun-free zones. It's time to allow people who are responsible legal gun owners to carry in public. And if that means you're a 4th grade math teacher and you have a concealed carry permit and you want to carry your 9 and you're responsible, then carry it. Now, if you leave it on the desk where Junior gets a hold of it, yeah, you should go to jail.
Yes.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that we are just going to assume that you are inept and unable, and therefore you have no right to defend yourself or the students in your classroom. I got kids in the high school. I'd be totally cool if there was a teacher in that, if they were in 4th period and that teacher had a gun and they were trained, they knew what they were doing, they had a concealed carry permit. Maybe that's the limit you put on there. You have to have a concealed carry permit. You're going to be in the school. We require you to take some firearm safety stuff if you're going to do that. I'm okay with that if you're going to carry it in those situations. Not to have a gun anywhere else, but if you want to have a gun in the school, this is what you've got to do to protect the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Totally cool with that. But as long as we proclaim, hey, these are safe places, go shoot the place up. Knock yourselves out. Nobody there can defend themselves. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Little Johnny and Julie over there, take them out. Because by the time the police get there to stop you,
the damage is done.
You will have enough time to do whatever you want, depending upon the amount of ammunition you brought with you.
Mm-hmm.
You bring 100 rounds of ammunition,
yeah,
you might get 100 targets.
Yeah.
And that is insane.
If you're talking about little kids, you might get 2 for 1.
You might.
Unfortunately.
You might.
Yeah.
There's no body mass to slow the bullet down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Paul's mentioned on the show before about hiring retired military, retired police officers to go in there and be resource officers and be armed. I'm fine with that too.
Mm-hmm.
But that resource officer is one dude.
Right.
And if you're an armed guy and you're walking into any venue, you're walking into a school, you're walking into a bar or dance club, and you know that there's one person on site that has the gun.
Yeah.
Well, that's the person you're shooting first.
Yep.
Exactly.
Sucker punch.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll never see it coming.
They'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
You walk up to the desk, you talk to the desk lady, you wait for the dude to not pay attention to you because he can't pay attention to everybody all at the same time. You pull out the gun, and then you've got fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
You know, it's time to get rid of gun-free zones because I think it's a failed experiment.
And I think it's time that schools, no matter what the age, they need to look at their planning better and their, whatever you want to call them, their lockdowns. Specifically the high school that we both went to, their plan is now to usher everybody across the street to the stadium. You know where that stadium is, and you know that there's a hill right above it with a senior center. Nobody's going to be guarding or patrolling above on the hill.
Oh, no.
So now if they've got an accomplice or 2 or 3, you've got your fish in the barrel.
Yeah.
You've got the whole school.
Yeah. And I don't know what the right answers are. I mean, there are trained experts in this that do a far better, far more knowledgeable job. Although, you know, some of them were working in Uvalde was how that turned out. But there's people who know this stuff and know the reactions and know all of that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know what the answers are. But right now we have set our children up. We have set our bars up and our nightclubs up and any other place that are daycares, you know, the do not gun-free zones. We are setting people up to be targets in a barrel. And the one thing that we've seen, you know, what they've talked about is we see way more mass shootings now than we did 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when did gun-free zones go into effect?
20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, I'm going to look that up. But, but when did gun-free zones go into effect? You can't pretend like we're having more shootings now because we're a more depraved society.
No.
Maybe we're having more shootings now because we've given them
the opportunity,
free passes
to
do whatever they want to do. These idiots want to be famous.
Well, yeah. I mean, like when we were in school, kids had their guns. They had their rifles in the back of their pickups, and on a rack they had 2, 3, 4. And they were going hunting.
By the way, 1990 is when the first gun-free zone.
Okay, so 30 years ago.
Yeah, 30.
So I drove to school to rifle in the rack of my pickup truck many times. Because after school, we went out and went target shooting or whatever.
I had a rifle in the back of my station wagon I drove, not to protect from, or not to go hunting necessarily, but because we had a farm. And depending when I got home at night from cheerleading, we had coyotes going after our farm, our livestock. And so it was one to protect me and two to shoot them to protect the, livestock. So, yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It does not. It does not make any sense why we continue to just allow this fish in a barrel mentality.
Well, the other thing, I mean, honestly, I think we've kind of taken the teeth out of our criminal justice system.
That's a given.
that doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that we go all Saudi Arabia and start executing people in mass, but let's put some teeth back in our criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sean's got a really great idea.
Oh, what does Sean have in the chat?
Why not volunteer militias, or I think he meant posses, organized and trained by the sheriff and comprised of parents of the students. Everyone who is background checked and trained volunteers a day or so a month at the school. I'm assuming is the rest of that thought.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. I agree with your gun-free zone. I mean, I think you brought that up a few months ago, and it really makes sense. It's like putting a bullseye on the school. It's like, if we were in an active war on our home turf, it's like telling our enemy, bomb us right here.
Yeah, right here.
Here's the school, bomb us.
Yeah. And Marco said in the chat, the Uvalde shooter entered a school through a door that was left unattended by an adult in charge. And I've thought about this, right? Because he's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
That is how they got access to the school.
It was a door that wasn't supposed to be open.
Yeah,
Right.
It was supposed to be locked.
But here's my point.
Mm-hmm.
The dude went there.
Yeah.
So, okay, the door was open.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to go in that school.
Yeah.
Now, how he was going to get in there, I don't know. Like, I don't know the logistical layout of the rest of the school.
Right.
But he took advantage of that door.
Being
Was
open.
going to that school for the purpose of getting in there and shooting at people.
Mm-hmm.
So while he got in there through a door that was not properly closed, he still would have gotten in there.
Yeah.
He was gonna
Whether
do
he
it
went
one
through the
way or
front
another.
door and killed the office staff first or whatever, you know what I mean? I mean, so you're right. It wasn't like he was walking down the street with a gun in his hand and was like, oh, look, the door's open. Let me go kill some kids.
Mm-hmm.
He had an agenda when he went to the school and got lucky with the door being open, but he still would have gone there and shot the place up. There's no sense in declaring we are unable to defend ourselves here. Get rid of the gun-free zones. If you disagree, K-Dog the Outlaw on Twitter. Send me a message. Outlaw Radio, we'll come back in a second. We're going to talk about what's going on in Atlanta. Stick around. More of the show after this.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape? You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel? Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's K-Dog. Don't forget to check out the brand new OutlawRadioNetwork.com. Not only can you watch our live shows every time they happen, you can catch an archive of all of our old shows as well. On top of that, the coolest gear around is out. Outlaw Radio merch, available right now with some cool stuff and cool stuff coming. Check us out, outlawradionetwork.com. Are you an outlaw yet? Visit outlawradionetwork.com and find out. Admin a la carte are specialized local experts committed to helping you run your small business. From general admin and sales support to marketing, digital media and technology to real estate and compliance. Admin a la carte's only goal is to take your business to the next level. Find out how Admin a la carte can elevate your business. Visit admin-alacarte.com for more information. That's admin-alacarte.com. Admin a la carte. Your business doesn't fit into a box. Why should you have to?
I'm Brandy Cruz, host of the Undivided Podcast, and you're listening to my friends on the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio, bottom of the hour. Thanks for checking out the show. We appreciate it. K-Dog, Black Tom, Lori, Boss Baby, DJD. St. Paul is on assignment in Ukraine. We miss you, Paul.
Ukraine.
Just come back in one piece. That's all we ask. So we wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in Atlanta, and this is a story that we've seen play out across communities across the country in especially the last 5 years. And it always starts with a shooting, or I don't want to say a shooting. It always dies as the result of somebody being killed due to police action or police while in police custody or police shooting or something along those lines. I'm not saying justified or not, right? I'm not passing blame on the cops. I'm just saying this is the recipe. Excuse me. This is the recipe we see. Somebody is in an interaction with police. They are killed in that interaction. The community becomes angry. What generally starts normally as a peaceful protest at some point turns violent. That is what happened this last weekend in the city of Atlanta. There was a memorial on Saturday evening after a Georgia-based activist was killed while interacting with police.
Tortuga.
Okay. The protest started out peacefully. And they kind of wandered around the streets of Atlanta, as I understand, until they got to a specific area.
This sounds oddly choppily familiar.
It
Chesley.
does.
Chopley.
Yeah.
Well, for the listeners who hear us national don't know what CHOP is. There was a situation in Seattle where protesters were protesting, and they set up they took over an area in Seattle and called it CHOP.
Yeah, what was the Capitol Hill occupied something? Yeah, so
Peria.
Parcel of land.
Yeah. So Capitol Hill is a district in Seattle.
Yeah.
8 square blocks.
They took over the
police
precinct.
precinct.
Yeah.
They took over police precinct. The cops basically ducked out and said, "Peace, we out."
Yeah.
It became a hellhole for drug use, assaults, rapes, guns. I mean, it was
extorting
Rioting.
business
2 young
owners,
men,
people
yeah.
killed.
Yeah.
It was a
2 young men
show.
were
It was a
killed.
treat.
Yeah.
And now you can come today and tour Seattle and go to where CHOP was and pick up a memorial T-shirt. Anyway,
Because nothing says capitalism like Capitol Hill.
so the protest.
Sharma Sawant is having a fit.
She's having a stroke right now.
The protest started out peaceful.
I don't care.
But of course, the folks dressed all in black, including black masks and stuff, showed up. And then it deteriorated from there. Windows were broke. Businesses were vandalized. Police cruisers were attacked. Parts of the city burned. It is part of an ongoing trend we see around this country. Seattle saw it. Portland saw it. Detroit saw it. Chicago saw it. St. Louis saw it, Denver saw it, New York saw it, Miami saw it, Houston saw it. Atlanta
Welcome to the club, Atlanta.
Yeah, and I'm sure Atlanta has seen it before. I will say I do find it interesting that less than a week after Martin Luther King Jr. Day, in Atlanta, this happens. The larger issue is it turned out the dude that was shot was armed, at least according to police. They have posted photos of the gun that he was found, and an officer was injured. The police say that he shot at the officer first, and that's why they returned fire and killed him. Now, I don't know if any of this is true or not. I don't know who shot first. I wasn't there. Is it feasible that the police department are lying to cover their backside? Certainly it's feasible. Is it likely? I don't know. I don't know the history of the cops in Atlanta with the people in their city or any of that. I don't know what the feeling is, right? People don't wait though for the facts to come out, Tom.
Do you know what the protest was about?
The protest was about the guy that got killed.
Right, but do you know why he was killed? So he was the protesters were protesting a training ground that was supposed to be built for the
Cop
police.
City, yeah,
Cop City, and so there was an area of kind of forested area that was supposed to be nature trails and such that were earmarked for being impacted by this training facility. So there were a group of protesters that were camping in the woods and trying to hold up the construction of this training facility. And it was one of those protesters that, from what I had read, shot at one of the officers that had gone out to help clear this chunk of land from the protesters so that construction could get underway. So that's all the detail I've dug up about, why the shooting, how the shooting, where the shooting.
It makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like when there are unjustified shootings, I want you to rise up. I want you to be loud. I want you to go to the streets and protest. I want you to let the power makers know that you are unhappy and that things need to change and things, you know what I mean? But when you have this situation where the dude that was killed had a gun, and the officer involved in the shooting was injured, there's no way that this was worth riding over. If the dude didn't have a gun, then I can understand this. If the dude had a gun and never had it out, I could understand this. But we know that the cop was shot. Yeah. That means at some point at the same time, they both had their guns out at each other.
Right.
Why in the name of sweet baby Jesus do you think it's advantageous for someone to point a gun at a cop and then you're surprised when he gets killed? And your reaction is to go to your streets and burn down the streets?
Can I interject one thing?
Yes.
There was only one Georgian resident for the activists who led the riot. All the rest were from outside of the state of Georgia. Yeah, one of them was from Washington.
Really? Can we get him on the show?
Spokane, Washington.
No, he's incarcerated right now.
She is incarcerated.
I bet she's a hoot.
There were 3 she's and 3 he's.
Well, we don't know how they identify. Because I hear they were from that community as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, well, it is. But
what kills me is, here's what kills me. One, we're so knee-jerk to just riot and burn things down to riot and burn things down. And I'm not advocating you go to Bainbridge Island and Jay Inslee's house. That's not what I'm saying. But what you're doing is you're burning down your community. You're burning down your businesses, the places in your neighborhood that hire you and your friends, the places that sell things to the people that you live with. So you don't have to trek out of the neighborhood to go to Walmart or Target that are too afraid to be in your neighborhood. Like you're not hurting anybody but yourselves and your neighbors and your neighborhoods.
In this case, I think the people that are rioting and the people that were arrested and detained for getting all this dog and pony show started, I think in this case they see it as a warranted sacrifice, if you will, because it's part of the. I believe from everything I've dug into, it looks like it's part of the defund the police movement. Because it is, stop the training facility, stop the funds for the police and further training, etc. So if it's part of that, then I can see how a social justice warrior might say, well, it's okay to sacrifice that part of the society for their idea of the greater good.
Yeah, but you're not. And I hear you, and I think that I would agree with you that that's what they believe. They believe that they are making a social stand for the greater good.
Yes.
The problem is you're not unfunding the police.
No.
You're unfunding your communities.
Yes.
You're unfunding businesses in your communities. You're putting people out of work. You're hurting everybody, because even if they don't torch a business to the ground, that business insurance rates are going to go up because it's unsafe. I mean. There's a hue and cry in this country about the inability for Black-owned businesses to be successful. This does not help.
Correct.
No.
Because if let me be honest, right? If I'm a white dude driving around in Atlanta and I think I want to go out and find me something to eat, I'm probably not going to go drive into the Black neighborhood in Atlanta to try those Black-owned businesses. Because one, I'm white and I'm not really sure how I'm going to be welcomed, right? Let's just speak honestly. I'm not saying that they wouldn't welcome me, but I'm saying that I would be concerned about which restaurant I went into, because some have made it clear they don't want white people there. And two, I'm not going to feel necessarily 100% safe when they're burning down their own places. And it's not even them burning their own stuff down. It's outsiders, as Tom mentioned before. But those local groups, or so that Lori mentioned before, but it's local groups that have to say, no, you're not welcome here. Get out.
Yeah.
You're not a local. Why are you even here?
Well, and it was 6
Go back
white
to
people.
Topeka. Yeah, go back to Topeka, wherever you came from. You don't come here and start this. When they start breaking a window, then those protesters need to jump on them and kick the crap out of them.
Right.
And say, this is not why we're here.
Agreed. 6 white people.
Yeah.
Targeted 3 Black-owned businesses.
The glory of white guilt, man. The glory of white guilt. Boy, we feel really guilty because we're white. We need to make that. So you're gonna destroy that community's claim, that community's business, that community's infrastructure, that community's profits, that community's jobs, that community's inspiration, that community's hope. Wonderful job. Because they can't afford. You could burn down a Walmart and they could endure that because they got all the insurance they need, they got all the corporate money they need, they got everything that they need. You could burn down a Walmart, and I'm not advocating to go to burn down a Walmart, but you could burn down a Walmart, they'd be fine. Same with Target, same thing with any of these major stores. These small Black-owned businesses, they can't.
Right.
Any small business,
if they
have who owns it.
Well, no, you're right, but I mean they're doing this in traditionally African American communities, right? And so they probably don't have the full gamut of insurance that they could have. They're probably struggling to make their payments like every other small business is. We know that 50% of small businesses fail in the first year, so they're probably struggling. They're probably doing their best, and then people burn this. It doesn't make any sense to me. And really, if you're in Atlanta, and I mean this, if you're in Atlanta, go to that city, go to that part of town, go back to those businesses. If you feel safe and comfortable doing it, go down there and spend some money, because God knows they're going to need it. Yeah. Because if this happened in Seattle, which is the closest town to where we're at, that's a major city, and something happens in Capitol Hill and a whole bunch of businesses burn to the ground, I'm not going back to Capitol Hill to visit. I'm not going to feel like it's safe. And all those other businesses are going to suffer. It's stupid that this is the response. And the end result is this wasn't a police interaction that warranted the riot in the first place. Dude had a gun and a police officer got shot. My nephew is in jail. He called me this morning. He's in jail again. because meth is a treat.
Oh.
And he called me and he said he's in jail. And I said, why are you in jail? And he said, because I got arrested for assaulting a police officer. Oh. I said, you've got to be kidding me. He said, yeah, I bit him. Why did you bite him? And he said, because he assaulted me first. No, he didn't assault you first. He attempted to arrest you, right? This is the mentality, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You will have your day in court. You won't have a day in court if you're stupid and get yourself killed because you tried to ramble with a police officer. It's just doesn't make any sense. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, one more segment around the corner. Stick around. It's Outlaw Radio. Find out more. OutlawRadioNetwork.com. Hey, it's K-Dog with the Outlaw Radio Network. We are everywhere. You can follow us on all your favorite social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Vimeo, and more. And if you want to follow me personally, hop on your Twitter and just search for K-Dog the Outlaw. And don't forget our really cool website, OutlawRadioNetwork.com, full of all the cool merch you've been looking for. Outlaw Radio Network. Are you an outlaw yet?
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't give a bother to do it. I got one milestone down the drain, and now I got to work on the next. I see the future is really bright for me. I feel like it doesn't matter the age, as long as you go back and get it done. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
No one gets a diploma alone. You have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Admin a la carte are specialized local experts committed to helping you run your small business. From general admin and sales support to marketing, digital media and technology to real estate and compliance. Admin a la carte's only goal is to take your business to the next level. Find out how Admin a la carte can elevate your business. Visit admin-alacarte.com for more information. That's admin-alacarte.com. Admin a la carte. Your business doesn't fit into a box. Why should you have to?
I'm Brandy Cruz, host of the Undivided Podcast, and you're listening to Outlaw Radio. Good luck.
All right, Outlaw Radio. Good luck. Good luck. That should be what it says on our shirts. Outlaw Radio, good luck. We'd love to get Brandy Cruz on again. We'll have to make that happen when she's done with her other stuff that she's committed to. I'd love to have her back on the show. Final segment of this hour. We appreciate you checking out the show again. Find out more at outlawradionetwork.com. Also, listen, I would love to see if you pick up any swag. Pictures of you in your outlaw swag doing cool things, right?
Oh, or doing not cool things.
Just I would do some cool things in your outlaw swag, like bungee jump or zip line or
skateboard.
Eat gas station sushi or something fun. Yeah,
that's adventurous.
Yeah, that is.
Living life on the edge.
Live dangerously.
Yeah, but you got to find the right gas station.
Yeah,
it's like the gas station that's out in the podunk toolies of middle of nowhere, so you know that sushi's been there for a good 7 to 10 days.
Yeah,
seasoning.
Sushi's talking back to you.
You can't tell if that's a different kind of fish or if that's mold on top of it. You just can't tell.
Oh no!
Yum.
By the way, I'll let our listening audience know I will be in Kentucky in 3 weeks.
Now I'm jealous.
Yeah, but I will not miss a show.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I'll fly back just in time to make the show that night.
Is this a work obligation?
It's no, I'll tell you about it. Off air.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it off air. But
got it.
Are you going anywhere near the Bourbon Trail?
I don't know where the Bourbon Trail is.
No.
I don't know where the Bourbon Trail is. I'm flying
He's
into.
not going anywhere cool.
I'm flying into Ohio and then
He's
coming
going
into
to Ohio.
I'm flying into Ohio and then going into
that's
Kentucky
right.
that way. So I don't.
So you're getting a Buckeye shirt.
I'm gonna look for a Buckeye shirt for the radio wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you're not.
By the way, how'd they do in the playoffs? I'm not sure. Okay.
Oh.
And the funny thing is, you act like you want to have this marriage. I can hold out a long time.
All right. So, did you want to do your trivia? Is this about what I was going to bring up, or is this something else?
Yes.
No, I think you should do your part first. Give me like first? 2 minutes. Yeah,
That's
because
what-
it'll
that's
feed
what she
into that.
said.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
All right. So, Joe Biden's in the news
That's
again,
what he
folks.
promised.
Again?
Yeah, this is the story that just keeps on giving. So
Does it need Veltrex?
Yes. Yes.
Pancakes. So last Friday, the FBI, in an agreed search, like they basically talked to Biden's lawyers, and Biden's lawyers and the FBI agreed, sure, you can come out to my house, Joe Biden's house, on Friday, and just look around. Yes. Laura?
Quick question.
Yes.
Were these Biden's personal lawyers or DOJ?
Well, no, I mean,
for the president's.
I'm sure that
I'm
they
just
talked
curious.
to Biden's lawyers.
Okay.
Because they
Just
said it was a
curious.
consensual search. And law enforcement never does consensual without talking to the
Correct,
attorneys of the people that
correct.
go. So
Okay,
I know the
thank you.
FBI was involved. DOJ was probably in there somewhere. But
Yeah.
anyway, so they
Anyways.
had this wonderful conversation. And I could just imagine that the FBI is like calling Joe Biden's attorney. And the FBI says, hey, we really think we want to come check out his house. We need to make sure there's no more documents floating around.
Especially around the Corvette. You know.
But this is at his house, right? And so
In a
so
locked garage.
Biden's lawyer probably will, yeah, that's totally fine. We can do that. I mean, I can't imagine this guy would be stupid enough to have any more documents floating around. I mean, obviously, if after the first 3 sets of documents were found, Biden must have instructed his staff and his wife and himself and the neighbors down the street and whomever else comes around, the lawn guy, to go through the house and make sure there's no accidental, secret documents that are just laying around his house. You guys can come check out the house. It's totally fine. No problem. No big deal. So the FBI comes out. The FBI comes out on Friday. And guess what happens?
Dun, dun, dun.
They find more illegal documents.
Next to the pancake mix.
More illegal documents. A 4th batch of quote unquote misplaced classified documents. This was after they've already found 3 different sets of misplaced, air quotes, classified documents. And Biden is so stupid that the FBI, he knew the FBI was coming and he didn't think, oh, I guess I better do a final sweep. This is the 4th batch since November, the 3rd batch found inside Biden's home in Wilmington, Delaware. The other batch was found in a think tank
In D.C.
I still have a hard time with think tank and Biden in the same sentence.
Thinking about pancakes. Tank.
And I wonder who's losing their job at the National Archives.
Thinking about eating pancakes in a tank.
Full of raisin ice cream.
But it gets better.
Oh.
There's talk about a special the special counsel in the classified records probe. And somebody asked the White House, I don't remember her name, the press secretary, whatever her name is.
Karine Jean-Pierre.
Yeah. Asked her, would Biden sit for an interview with the special counsel? And they would not commit either way. Hey, Biden, your Trump is showing.
What kind of word salad did they use to not confirm yes or no?
I don't know.
I can't imagine what that sounded like.
Sharks are circling.
Ask me the question. I'm going to play. What's her name?
Karine Jean-Pierre.
Yeah. Her. I'm going to play her.
So, Madam Press Secretary.
Yes.
Yeah.
We both love women. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you think President Biden would be willing to sit down and speak with our special counsel?
I don't know if this is what was said, but I'm gonna play the role. You ready? At this time, the president has not discussed or decided upon when or if he would sit for the special counsel. We'll have to get more information and then make a decision from there.
That's way too articulate for the word salad I've heard come
no,
from
she's really good at word salad.
Has she gotten better?
She's really good at word salad. I mean, she's really good at taking a simple answer and making it confusing and yet making it sound.
Well, I mean, that was pretty articulate.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, usually
I like her as a press secretary. I mean,
damn.
I mean, I don't like the messaging, but I like her as a press secretary.
I thought Psaki was better.
Oh, Jen Psaki was better at everything.
Yeah, well,
and Jen Psaki, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm still waiting for your hand in marriage. But still, I think that I think that they have really good press secretaries. Again, the messaging is skewed, but as far as delivery and ability to interact with the press corps and all that, I think they do a good job. The left-leaning media keeps running articles and stories about how this story is so different than Trump's, so much not as bad as Trump's.
Sure is.
This story is way different.
Yeah,
than
way
Trump.
different.
Way worse than Trump's.
Yeah, he was a vice president.
Well, he was the vice president, and we're talking about documents that have been held since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
No, 2012, 2016.
2015.
2016.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Honestly, January of 2017.
But what's funny is they made Trump's out to be so much bigger of an issue.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
We're going to just destroy this man over it versus we found now 4 times as many sets of documents than Trump had. And yet it's not really a big drop in the bucket.
What else? But what else is out there? If Biden can't even remember the top secret classified documents that he has in his own home, what else? Where else could classified documents be? And for that matter, why does the National Archive not have a list of documents that Biden supposedly has that they're like, where's the rest of this crap at? How do we keep finding extra stuff that the National Archives hasn't said is missing?
I'm assuming there's got to be something kind of like the Dewey Decimal System to keep track of all that stuff.
I would assume that stuff has to be checked out.
Somehow.
I would assume there's a process to leave the National Archive with that stuff.
At the very least, the Dewey Decimal System.
I would, or something. A
See,
library card, something.
I think this is the DNC's get out of jail free card. We're done with Joe.
Maybe.
Now the documents are surfacing. We're gonna, take care of that piece of the puzzle.
I told you, watch out for Gavin Newsom as a Democrat nomination for president in 2024. I mean, Gavin Newsom, I said, watch out for that guy. Because if Biden doesn't win, it seems like Gavin Newsom is the heir apparent in the Democratic Party. And that dude's a moron. And if you like Gavin Newsom, I apologize for hurting your feelings. You're probably a moron too. The fact that this is not a bigger story makes me mad. And again, I'm not sticking up for Trump. Like, I'm not a Trump guy.
No.
I don't think Trump should have had classified documents in his possession, and I wouldn't have lost a night's sleep if they charged him with illegal possession of classified documents. I don't know the legalities of that or how the legal stuff works because it's not in the Constitution, and I'm a constitutional scholar. I don't understand all federal law, and I'd like to not want to hang myself, so I don't read federal law. But if there was something done wrong, then Trump should have been charged. The caveat to Trump is that he was the president when he took the documents, and the president has the ability to unclassify documents. So I would argue there's a gray area there that could be discussed by scholars and experts. I am neither of which. Joe Biden's documents that he has, are documents he took when he left as vice president. He cannot declassify documents as the vice president. So anything he took would have either had needed to have been declassified by B-Rock, or they weren't declassified and they were not to be in his possession, let alone the fact that they've been in his possession for 7 years. CNN is right. These are not even close. What Biden's done is far worse. And the fact that nobody reports it that way is insane. And the House will impeach him and it will fail. But this is significant, and it should be significant.
Well,
and it's not being treated as significant by the media.
Well, if Lori's right, and this is the gift to the DNC, and the DNC says, yeah, we're done with him, then maybe the Senate will jump on board.
They won't turn to their own guy. Yeah. All right, we got to wrap up this hour. If you want more information or to catch more of our shows and the stuff you never hear where you're listening to us at, unless you're local, visit us at outlawradionetwork.com. And for those of you listening to the live show, we got an hour after this. If you're not, visit us on the website, outlawradionetwork.com.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Facebook.
No, it's not dead air. Everyone can hear us saying Facebook.
So
I'm really getting sick of this Joe Biden shit. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm really getting sick of this Joe Biden shit. This is fucking ridiculous. The story doesn't end, and it makes me regret every single day that I voted for this schmuck. I swear to God. I want to recall.
Anyways, so back to the thing, bit of trivia that I had. When
Can you ask this as a question to see if I know the answer?
I will in a second. So during the time that the House was still debating on the rules, they didn't have a speaker, blah, 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 blah. We got to see a lot of live TV. We got to see a lot behind the curtain.
Okay.
And that was courtesy of C-SPAN. So my trivia, what is C-SPAN? Is it a private company or a government entity?
I believe it's a government entity.
Is C-SPAN not something like public access TV? But I don't know.
So you're thinking public access?
That's kind
Kevin,
of what I would
you
guess.
thinking government entity?
I think it's run by the government, yeah.
Okay. Boss baby? Not a clue? Okay. I was shocked. C-SPAN is a cable company. C-SPAN likes to pride themselves to be as close to PBS ISK as they can, but they own the rights, supposedly, to the newly installed 8 cameras inside the House of Representatives.
Really?
And
it's a private company, then it's not a government agency or government run, huh?
And Lauren Boebert was on Twitter wanting Kevin McCarthy to allow C-SPAN to broadcast live.
I'm not against that.
And so then the debate becomes, well, what about MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, ABC, NBC, CBS? What about them?
Well, if C-SPAN's trying to be close to PBS, like public access, like I was talking, I think it's two different creatures.
Well, that's just their personal way of doing business as a company, but that's not necessarily how they have to operate.
I didn't know that.
I know. I didn't either. I found it very, very interesting.
Pretty outstanding. That's good. That's good trivia right there.
Yep. There you go.
All right.
Because wouldn't it be interesting if all this stuff is going down and we actually get to see everything like we did during the whole votes?
I think it'd be great. Listen, I think the only things that should not be broadcast on like C-SPAN or whatever is stuff about classified stuff.
Right.
So classified military funding, military programs, stuff like that. Fine. That doesn't need to be up, but everything else should be 24/7. And when it's over for the day, it replays overnight. Like everybody should have an eye into what they are doing, what they talk about, all of it. And it's all going to be boring as hell. And most of it's going to be nonsensical, but you leave it up there because it is
1 minute
transparent.
Right.
But politics should be boring.
Yeah.
When you get right down to it, politics should be about infrastructure and the day-to-day business of making the country go round and round, not, what it's turned into now. I identify as a kumquat or whatever.
As a kumquat, that's what she said. All right, final hour after this. Outlaw Radio. Don't fall over backwards.
I know. This chair does.
In the next hour, we'll be calling for the EMTs because Lori fell over in her chair. Back after this.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Outlaw Radio. Hey, I got a topic I'm going to bring up in a minute, but I wanted to touch on something. And he may never hear this either. Stephen Boyer, who was the former sheriff of Kitsap County for a very, very long time. We've talked about him. We've talked about him a lot on this show. Just the amount of respect I have for the guy. He used to, when he was a sheriff, he came on with us monthly and talked about stuff that was going on.
A lot of different shows on this station, too.
He was always available. He was always willing to talk. He was always willing to share his insight, his experience, all of that. Just a wonderful guy. And I'm never a big fan of like pounding around with the police. It makes me worry I'm going to get arrested at every single turn. But he was just an outstanding guy. Steve Boyer's wife Judy passed away earlier this month, and I never met her, but I know the kind of man that Steve was. And for Steve to have been such an outstanding guy, it means he probably had a really outstanding wife too. So on behalf of all of us at the station, I think I can speak for Dennis and the ownership and everybody as we just give our condolences out to Steve and his family and the loss of his wife. And we're really sorry for you, Steve. And we hope that, all the prayers are working. And so just our condolences to you. And we appreciate your service to our community and you don't serve alone, right? I mean, I'm sure she served right along next to you as you did everything that you did in a high pressure job. And so, we thank her for you and we give you our condolences, man. All right. This is not meant to be a segue because the topics are somewhat related when we talk about police and all that, but this is not designed to be a segue. There is a new proposed law.
Where?
Have you heard about this?
You have to be more specific.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Well, I like to just throw the rope at you.
Federal law, state law.
Washington State has proposed to reduce the DUI legal limit. So right now, the legal limit in Washington State is 0.08. They want to reduce that to 0.05. Okay. Every state in the country, with the exception of Utah, is at 0.08.
Yeah.
Utah is at 0.05. And Washington would be only the second state in the country to lower its blood alcohol level for a DUI offense. Now, on its face, it sounds like a decent idea. on its face, we don't want people that are impaired to be driving cars. If reducing it to 0.05 somehow reduces the risk of auto accident or drunk driving or whatever, then on its face, it sounds like a great idea. Let me tell you why it's not.
But you're going to kill a lot of bars.
Maybe. I mean, they said that about the 0.082 and it really didn't. Here's why it's a bad idea. In Washington State, we have underfunded our police officers. We are not adequately staffed. They are not properly trained. They do not have the manpower or the time to respond to everything we need them to respond to. How many times do we hear stories about how there's not enough police officers to make it to a crime scene on time or respond to a phone call in a timely manner? They can't even respond to half of the calls that they receive. I'm making up a percentage, but there's a large number of calls of auto accidents where you need a police report for an insurance claim, and the cops don't even come to it. They just give you a police report number later because they don't have the numbers.
You have plenty because they can't chase you anymore.
Yeah. You cannot, they're pouting. Facts. You cannot continue to heap more and more things on the police department that is underfunded, inadequately staffed and trained, and then expect that they can handle that and everything else that you've put on their plate. On top of that, I'd like you to consider how stupid this is. Well, we don't want you to drink and drive, so we're going to lower the limit down. But if you want to get high on heroin, here's a free injection site. This makes absolutely no sense to me. This is nonsensical. On one hand, we got to keep our community safe from all those drunk drivers. On the other hand, here's some heroin.
It's a money grab.
Yep.
It doesn't make
lobbyist.
It probably is a money grab.
I mean,
the
it
state
certainly
makes
puts a lot of money on drunk driving fines.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, all the county jails are full. We have people that are not being held in county jails because they don't have enough staff or room to hold them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not advocating to let people drive drunk. That's not what I'm saying. But they believe in Olympia that you can just pass law after law after law after law after law after law, and everything else will fall in line behind it. And that's not how the real world works.
So, here's my take on the DUI thing, going from 0.08 to 0.05. Considering I'm kind of in the liquor industry, most of the people that I see or that I know, that frequent the bars, they go out, they have a few drinks, and they have their social life, and then they head home.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are probably not driving legally, but they've got a tolerance and they've practiced. I know it sounds terrible, but they've practiced. This law for 0.05, it'll be for the rookies. It'll be for the rookies on New Year's Eve. The people who go out and have a drink, every other month or something. They don't have a tolerance. They don't have practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I know that sounds bad, but that's who it's going to hit.
In a fantasy world, right, Tom? I agree with you.
Yeah.
In a fantasy world where there's rainbows and unicorns and mermaids, then you'd put a 0. You'd have a blood alcohol content of 0 is the requirement, or you can't drive.
Right.
In a real world.
Right.
In a fantasy world.
Yep. But
in the real world, that doesn't work.
No.
And it can't work for a couple of reasons. You don't have the infrastructure or the police or the training in order to execute that.
Right.
You just don't. And this idea that we're just going to put everybody in jail for a night.
That doesn't work either.
Jack up their insurance rates, suspend their driver's license on a 0.05. When your system isn't, and meanwhile, we're letting people get off for other crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, well, they just went into a store and walked out with $9,999, or sorry, whatever the limit is. Is it $10,000? Is $1,000 is a larceny limit? They just walked out with $999 worth of merchandise. We're not even going to respond. But this is where you dig in. And again, I'm not advocating that people be allowed to drive drunk, but I'd like to see some consistency. Like, we need to focus on the laws that we have and enforcing those before we add more laws. And while we're at it, we need to properly staff and properly train.
Can't properly staff and train if you don't have the people willing to apply, willing to live here, willing to work here, willing to be police officers. Well, exactly.
You could not pay me to be a cop or a sheriff in this county. Not because they're not good people. There's some really good people. We talked about Stephen Boyer earlier. There's some great people that work there. There's some bad people, but there's some great people that work there.
Yeah. Now, I've got friends in the sheriff's department. I've talked to them, and they've said, if I were to start a career today, there's no way I'd be a cop.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish my career as a cop because I want my pension and my retirement and blah, blah, blah. But there's no way they would start their career as a cop. And I know they're kids, you know, they're adult age kids that have graduated college, etc. And a lot of times, you know, son follows dad's footsteps and, you know, dad's a cop, son becomes a cop. Nope. Dad's a cop, son's going to be a fireman.
Or something.
Yeah.
And you know, Caleb is in chat. He's got some really good comments. He said, sorry about that. He said, a DUI is as bad as his felony nowadays. 6 years of having an SR22 after my DUI, and it stays in your driving abstract forever. So what does that do? That increases your insurance rates. It means you can't get certain jobs.
Yeah, it precludes you. Definitely.
I mean, okay, I'm going to say it. Tara Simmons got a second chance. Tara Simmons got a second chance. She was involved in the brutal assault of somebody. She was an admitted drug addict, and she got a second chance. And now she's a lawyer, and she's a member of the State House of Representatives. So if you want to do laws like this, you better give somebody a room for a second chance.
Right.
Okay, they win 8 years or 7 years without another occurrence. It comes off the record. They don't get screwed for the rest of their life because of it.
But that's not the case though. So that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if you're gonna get more restrictive, then you've got to give some outs.
Well, it's creating a caste system. So it's you know, widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
And you're making them poor for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
We're not making them poor. You're adding to them to be poor for the rest of their lives because you are limiting their ability to do certain things. And I would be curious to see how Tara Simmons would vote on this bill. Because if she votes for it and doesn't propose any reconciliation on the back end, then I would say that's a little hypocritical, isn't it, Tara? Because you were able to find your out on the back end. Because you had money, or you had people that believed in you, or you had something. I mean, you had to go to the state Supreme Court, for Christ's sake. That wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
So you either had money behind you, or you had people behind you with money who believed in you. Most people don't have that. Now, I personally think if you get caught driving drunk, the penalty should be far harsher than they are right now. I really do. There is not an excuse to drive drunk. And I have a family member who's gotten 3 DUIs in his life. So I say that knowing full well how much I love that family member. But if you drive drunk, you're a moron and you deserve to have the book thrown at you. But we cannot continue to add and add and add and pad and pad and pad. And by pad, I mean we're padding insurance companies that get to charge exuberant amounts of money. We're charging the companies that we're making decisions that benefit the interlock companies that charge an exorbitant amount to put an interlock device in somebody's vehicle. We're hindering their ability to earn a life, to pay a bill, to raise their family. It stays on their driving record forever, which is insane. A bankruptcy doesn't stay on there forever. It makes absolutely no sense. Caleb said, I think I'm far enough along I can finally get back into Canada. No, you can't. If you have a DUI, you are not allowed to go to Canada. If you have a felony conviction, you're not allowed to go to Canada.
Correct.
Now,
is that you're not allowed to drive in Canada, or
you're not allowed to enter the country?
Oh,
you cannot enter the country.
You can't.
That family member that I had, we had talked about going on a cruise with them. It stopped in Victoria, and we were unsure if they would let him go on the cruise and just not let him off the boat in Victoria, or if they would deny him entrance onto the cruise at all. Because it stopped in Victoria on the way back. The Alaska cruise.
How do they research that?
They can run background checks.
Why? Yeah, but those take time. Those take time.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
The cop pulls you over in Washington. They can run a background check.
It has a barcode on the back of your driver's license.
I'm sure they share data.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they share data. It's nonsensical to me. I understand what they're trying to do. Right? If I was a legislator, I would love to be able to go back to my constituents and say, see, I did something that helped the people be safer in my community. We're going to make the DUIs laws even tougher to keep people safe on the roads. And that's exactly how they're going to sell it. It's not feasible. You don't have enough cops out there to enforce it.
Does that mean DUI laws are actually going to go the opposite direction? Cops will quit enforcing DUI because there's other priorities?
No.
That's a safety thing.
There's a million safety things.
I don't know. I mean, I think it probably depends district to district, right? We've had the conversation before about how some sheriffs are not enforcing 1439, and that's their discretion. So, I mean, I think you could have a sheriff come out and say, hey, we're not going to enforce it to that level. I think it'd be suicide. I mean, career suicide.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think if any sheriff said, I want to be reelected, but by the way, I did not follow the guidance on the DUI laws, he'd be laughed out of town on a rail. The larger issue is, we have got to go back to our representatives and tell them, if you want to do these things, then you need to properly fund the police. You need to give them the right kind of training. We need to have outs when people go a certain length of time without reoffending again on a DUI, that they have an opportunity to get their normal license cost back. We put restrictions on what the ignition locks can cost. Mm-hmm. We put a cap on we need to have caps on insurance anyway, because the insurance rates in the state are asinine. And whoever the insurance commissioner is, it used to be Kreidler, I'm not sure if it still is now, but whoever the insurance commissioner is needs to just be run out of town on a rail.
Kreidler.
Kreidler. It's still Kreidler? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Kreidler.
No one's seen him in 3 years. But
I have a solution to all that.
What's that?
Deregulate all of it. Let the market sort it out.
Well, the problem is that the market is sorted into itself. You have to deregulate everything everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Part of the issue with the DUI thing is there's no regulation that says you have to charge this much or whatever for a DUI license or for a DUI insurance.
Right.
But because the insurance companies know the state has them over a barrel, they can jack up the prices and charge whatever they want to,
mm-hmm.
because so you can deregulate the insurance industry. But if the market's still deciding and the market knows that the state's got these people bent over a barrel for the rest of their lives, they're just going to jack the prices anyway.
Right. But if you deregulate insurance and make it no longer mandatory, then the insurance companies have to compete.
Yeah. So how do you feel about mandatory insurance, Lori? I know how you feel because you're a libertarian and it makes your skin crawl. Lori, what do you think about mandatory insurance?
Are we talking auto?
Yes, auto, motorcycle, car, truck, SUV.
It should be
boat.
Up
insurance
to
to protect yourself, your property, or the bank loan, or all of
No, like auto insurance, which requires you as a licensed driver to have insurance so that if you are involved in an accident, you're insured.
I'm 50-50 on it. I think it's important to have for those catastrophic events that people find themselves in, or their loved ones have to pick up the pieces, and no one wants to get hit with a lawsuit. And after having personal experience with a loved one who was killed in a catastrophic event and the federal government sued my ass, excuse my language, I'm glad for insurance. That being said, the way our system is set up in the state of Washington, Kreidler has picked winners and losers, and this was way before the pandemic. And so it is very beneficial to the insurance industry to the point where we are, not only in cahoots with a gas tax that's exorbitant, but now we're in cahoots with a price per mile. We're in cahoots with registrations that are out of the world for different cars, old cars even. And so it's just this vicious cycle, and it all points back to the insurance commissioner.
Yeah.
And so I believe in having insurance, but you are going to have those issues where you have uninsured drivers. Is it because they're uninsured drivers because they can't afford it, because they've had issues, or is it that they truly don't believe? So that's where the rub is.
So Tom's going to hate me. I am totally in favor of mandatory insurance if something was done about keeping costs reasonable, because as soon as they made it mandatory, costs skyrocketed.
Oh yeah.
And it shouldn't have, right?
Right.
Your insurance should go down when more people are forced to pay into it. Right. So if you have more people paying into an insurance, then it should go down. And that's not what happened, because every insurance company in the state knew, well, now they have to have it so we can charge more.
Right.
So it
became a monopoly.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
So I would be totally in favor of mandatory insurance because I think it's important. But I think that something should have been done on caps about the price to keep the price reasonable, because it certainly isn't now.
But if you're, if you just take personal responsibility, you say, okay, insurance is a smart thing to have. I should have insurance. Then you get insurance. I mean, if you choose to take the risk of not being insured when you're on the road, then you suffer the consequences of those lawsuits, etc.
No, but you suffer it too, though.
Yeah.
If I'm driving
as the driver,
but no, what I'm saying is, if I'm driving without insurance,
right, and you hurt me, and I have to sue you, I understand it's a giant pain in my
well,
ass.
it's a pain in the ass. And if I'm broke,
right,
and I don't have any money, you can't get blood out of a turnip.
Right.
And now all the medical bills that you're paying, all the new vehicle you have to get, all the other stuff that comes in cost with that kind of stuff, missed work, all that stuff, pain and suffering
comes out of your pocket.
But if I'm smart, I have insurance. So I've covered myself. My insurance will cover me if I'm smart and I have an uninsured motorist rider on my policy.
I don't think they cover everything, though.
No, they don't.
But you can have anything you want. All you have to do is buy it.
But then you're paying more because I'm a schmuck.
But I'm not paying more because the market has to compete to get my business, because no one's holding a gun to my head saying I have to buy it.
But they are doing that for personal insurance now.
Yeah.
They are literally, in their way, holding a gun to your head by saying, oh, if you don't buy your own personal insurance, we're going to bill you for it anyway, and you're just not going to get any benefit.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, Tom, and I think you're right, like in the ideal world. But again, I think if you release the requirement to have insurance, 80% of the drivers 70% of the drivers in the state would not have insurance. They would say, nope, I'm going to say about half. I think it'd be way more than half. I think people are cheap. People are cheap.
They're cheap, but a lot of people have banknotes, and you're required to carry insurance. So there you go.
Yeah, and if I've got a loan on my vehicle, I have to have insurance.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not the government. That is the person who loaned me the money. I have no problem with that mandate.
That's the contract you signed. Yeah.
Caleb says he pays $14 a month for just liability. Well, that's just liability insurance. Yeah, I won't do just liability. I like my Jeep too much.
Ooh, let's talk about license plate tabs.
Oh, look, 1 minute left.
And my $81 excise tax.
Can I see that real quick?
Yep.
Oh, don't.
So these are for your tabs, right?
Yes, on my little car.
So on the Facebook side, during commercial, I'm going to read these tabs on her car, and I'm going to tell you how insane it is. So stick around,
boss baby. I'll trade with you.
No,
I will.
Yeah.
I'll trade with you.
Oh yeah.
Because you drive a rabbit hybrid car.
Hold on, it's not hybrid. It's
Outlaw
all
Radio.
electric.
Even that.
Outlaw Radio.
It's not even that.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio, yeah. Tabs on the Jeep were 98. Tabs on the Kia were 98.
I literally would like to.
Tabs on the Flex.
Yes, I cannot wait to buy tabs.
98, I think. Yeah.
The tabs on my 10-year-old electric Nissan Leaf or over 300.
Yeah, I know they are. It's and they do that because it's electric, so they don't get any for gas tax.
My tabs on my 11-year-old Volvo was $350.
Where were you in Snohomish
County? King County.
So
because of the RTA and all that.
So really quickly, these are Andy's Boss Baby's tabs, and she lives in Tacoma, so that's part of the issue. So she has $30 for license registration. That's normal. Everybody has that. She has an additional vehicle weight fee of $10. I'm not sure where the fuck that comes from.
That's weird because I drive a very small car.
You drive a very small car.
Yeah.
You have a vehicle weight fee of $25. You have a registration filing fee of $4.50. You have a registration service fee of $8. You have 50 cents for a Department of Licensing service fee. 50 cents. 25 cents for a license plate technology.
I'm picking up my own tabs. I'm not even having them mailed to me. I shouldn't be paying 50 cents for a stamp they're not going to use.
Yeah.
A transportation benefit district fee for Tacoma of $20. And then the
30 seconds.
The fucking kicker. $81 for the Regional Transit Authority excise tax. Her tabs for her little pregnant roller skate car is $179.25. That is insane, my friends. Outlaw Radio. We're coming back after this.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio.
Outlaw Radio. While the spouses here argue about
the work spouses have their issues here.
The work spouses are
I needed
heatedly discussing a cable jack.
I needed a cable.
That and the pregnant roller skate car.
No, I like her little car. By the way, are you still going to sell me that little car?
So you want to buy it $3,000 less than it's worth? So no.
No, you told me you'd sell it to me for that number. I didn't propose you a number. That was what you gave me.
You asked her.
You asked
if
me
you could buy her car
yeah.
if she was going to sell it.
Yeah, and she said she'd sell it to me for $5,000. I didn't give her the number.
Those words never came out.
So is it worth $8,000? I'll buy it for $8,000.
Okay, then we can actually talk.
But we got to move on that though, because I got to find one.
I've literally been looking for cars for 3 days.
Okay. No, I'll buy it for $8,000. I got it in my little hands right now.
Do you have a topic, Kevin? Because I have a comment from the chat that is going to derail us.
Well, is it?
Does anything not derail us?
Is it? Hold on. Is it the thing that Caleb wrote?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what.
Oh, is that what you're doing right now? Okay.
Dennis, will you make my laptop hot?
Nope. What?
All right. Do we have sound? Okay. So it's not very often that we get to get into this, but we have listener mail, and anytime we have listener mail,
Here's the mail. It never fails.
Just got a letter.
Want to wag my tail when it comes? I want to.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
All right. So wait, why didn't it play that one? Hold on.
You played the wrong one.
Blues Clues mail song,
We
right?
just got a letter.
Well, that's the one I just played, but what happened to the other one? Yeah, I forgot about the other one. Oh, here we go.
It's called Mail Time.
Here we go. Outlaw Radio. Pause. Oh my God. He's got like a 30-second intro. Oh, here we go.
Mail time.
The mail's here. Come on.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
That's a very Pee Wee Herman mail, by the way. All right. Here's what we have. Is the feed still going? Our feed's still going. All right. My computer's acting up, and I'm not sure why. I'm going to refresh the page. Caleb said, how do I break up with my girlfriend who is dumb as a box of rocks?
You get a new one.
I know you have to break up with the old one.
The new one will
maybe
do
before
it for
or
you.
after. But, that's a great idea.
That's a damn fine idea.
You get the girlfriend, and
Here's
then
what
you
we
have
have.
her break up
maybe
with the. You have her break up with the. Okay, that's a great idea. I like that. That's a good idea.
And that never occurred to you?
No, that never occurred to me.
Huh?
Have you really never had that happen before? Oh, wait,
Robert says introduce her to K-Dog. That won't make her break up with you. It'll make her glad that she's dating you and not me. Okay, so if you want to make your relationship more strong, you introduce her to me because then she realizes how much of a winner you are compared to this dumpster fire. Anybody want to give Caleb some advice on how to break up with a woman who is dumb as a box of rocks? Come on, Tom. I know you have something.
Wow.
Put her stuff on the sidewalk.
Move
and lock the door.
Just move.
Yeah, you could
just
move.
leave her stuff on the sidewalk and lock the door.
And
When she
change the
comes,
locks.
yes,
Change the locks.
yes, change the locks.
Change the locks. That's great.
And just tell her that her squatting days are over.
Yeah.
Her services are no longer needed.
No, Dennis.
Tom,
Dennis, her
that's harsh.
squatting
That's
her squatting days are not over. She still has to squat to pee. It's okay. Okay.
Well, then you got a point.
Well, you could just go back to the idea of telling her their services are no longer needed.
Yeah.
But damn, that's
Could you
harsh.
just change all the locks in the house?
Yeah.
Like just put all of her stuff outside.
Yeah.
Change the locks on the house and just leave a note on the door that says it's been fun.
Oh, I wouldn't.
No, don't. No.
No.
She won't get that.
Again, women, long game. It might not work out well.
And she got fired the day
She's
before
dumb,
Christmas
but she
Eve.
probably doesn't have dumb friends.
I'm following that in the chat too. I mean, if she got fired the day before Christmas Eve, man, you've got
Caleb,
to be.
it's
Wait,
not
she
your
got
responsibility.
fired the day
Yeah.
before Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
That's what's in the chat.
Is it also because she's dumb she got fired?
One could maybe presume that.
I'm gonna You just need to have the new girl break up with her.
Yeah, get the new girl to break up with the old girl.
If she's got that much going on, you just
Wait, are you dumping her because she got fired the day before Christmas Eve? Is that
No, that's just an extra.
Caleb, call the show 360-874-1400. We're gonna have some relationship advice talk on the show.
Oh my god! From the two people who are maybe the worst at
No, I'm great at
relationships.
advice because all I have to think about is what would I do and then tell them to do the opposite.
Well, that's
360-874-1400. Dennis is watching the phones. I'm gonna find out.
I'll just say I'm not bad at relationships. I just have a horrible and broken picker.
Do you? What are you laughing about, Lori?
I don't know. Do I?
Anyway,
don't be mad. You haven't even given me any of benefits of this, like radio marriage.
I've never heard it called a picker before. So
Really? Oh, I've heard that.
I've heard that.
Yeah, F-bombs used that before. She's talked about her picker's broken.
She's married to you.
Like I said, her picker's broken.
Oh, ouch.
What's the worst way you've ever broke up with somebody?
Me?
Yeah.
Via text.
Via text, yeah.
No.
No, I got broken up with.
Oh, I would say the last time I broke up with someone, cell phones didn't exist.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
but was that no? That probably wasn't the worst.
Joining us by phone would be
ghosted
one Caleb.
Oh,
That-
ghosting
no,
was
that
the worst.
probably wasn't the worst.
Joining us by phone would be
ghosted.
one.
Hey, Caleb, what's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Long time no speak, man. How you been?
Dealing with stuff.
It sounds like it.
So hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. So she got fired the day before Christmas Eve.
Yep.
What kind of work was she doing?
Only
Washing dogs.
What, washing dogs?
Okay. Why did she get fired?
How do you get fired? Yeah, how do you get fired from a dog washing job?
Was she cutting
New
their
boss.
nails too?
Yeah, she was doing trims and stuff like that. New boss basically hired 3 new actual dog groomers and fired her that day because she was like, business stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't really her fault.
So she hasn't gotten a job since?
Nope.
Is that part of what's driving you to want to kick her to the curb?
No, actually, no. I have
Okay.
no connection with her anymore.
So
It's terrible.
So you said dumb as a box of rocks.
Yeah, Kevin gets that.
I get that.
Yeah,
Give her a 3.
Do you can you give us an example of something? Just maybe something to help, like.
How dumb is she, Caleb? How dumb is she?
That's easy.
An example.
Every conversation turns into her about dog grooming.
Oh no! But
she's
done,
not over it. Yeah.
But she got fired.
She's done being a dog groomer.
Yeah.
So Caleb, here it is. Here you. Well, she's.
How old is she, Caleb, in relation to you? Is she younger by quite a bit?
She's only like a year younger than me.
Oh.
Did I meet her?
Oh God.
Yeah, you did.
Was she the one that came out with you to that one thing when we were doing the karaoke that one night?
Yep.
That was called your
Yes,
birthday.
sir.
I know who it is. She was fun. But addicted to dog grooming. Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
So maybe what you do is you sit down and you have a talk with her and you say, how your time as a dog groomer at company dog groomer has come to an end. Well, maybe it's time for
a whole refresh.
Maybe. Hey, I like where that went, boss baby.
Get a whole life refresh.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you need to refresh everything.
Listen.
A new job, a new boyfriend, a new town. Just
does she live with you?
She does.
I don't envy
was
you.
that yes?
All right.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh no.
So here's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
You really need a
nail in
new
the coffin
girlfriend
right there.
to break
Caleb.
up for you. Then.
Here's what needs to happen, and I hate to be the guy to suggest this, but it's the only way this is going to work. Do you have any female friends who would lay in bed naked with you?
I could probably find one.
Okay. So what you need to do is find 1 or 2 of them
and get air quote caught.
Listen, get air quote caught. Just
Are you offering?
just all 3 of you lay in bed
babies
together. Everybody's buck naked. You wait for her to come home. When she walks in the door, your response needs to be surprise, and then she'll probably get mad and move out.
She hasn't left my house in 3 weeks.
Yeah, or she strips down and
She
jumps in
hasn't
bed too,
left
and
your
then
house
you're in a
in 3
bigger
weeks?
problem.
Yeah, except to go to the store.
You pick winners, man.
Oh, I know. I'm fucking.
Caleb, you have just as bad a picker as I do.
I know. I forgot. It's not on Facebook.
Caleb.
You
know better than that.
Sorry, not.
Anyway,
I know. I didn't mean to.
Listen, here's what I want you to do. I want you by next Sunday's show to call back in and let us know what happened.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Call us in the 3rd hour and let us know what happened. And if nothing happened, call us anyway and tell us that nothing happened and she's still there and all's still good.
Put it this way. I've been ignoring her and that is not even going well.
Did she sleep next to you? Like, do you guys share a bed?
She has her own room.
Oh.
So weird.
Normally she would sleep next to
your
me,
girlfriend
but she
you
has
live
her own
together.
room.
Oh, I don't
Caleb, if she has her own room, then you just go ahead and you shift things. You say, hey, you're shifting from girlfriend status to roommate status, so you need to pony up for your half of the rent, mortgage, whatever.
That'd be the easiest way of it.
Yeah. That's how it started. It was roommate status, and then I fucked up. Oh God.
All right, goodbye, Caleb. You got to go. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Caleb.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Yep.
I think there's a saying that's don't.
He said he ducked up, by the way. He ducked. He was like a duck. Because, when ducks get scared, they just bury their head in the water. He said he ducked up.
Don't, is it, well, I have to.
Don't pee where you eat.
Don't go poo where you eat.
Yeah, don't pee where you eat.
Yep.
Don't make your bread where you get your meat.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's the problem he finds himself in.
What is it? I got that saying wrong. It's don't make your bread where you put your meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're saying, Tom.
That sounds
really
like
weird.
a yeast infection.
Orthodox Jewish.
Here's the other question
Orthodox
too.
Jewish
Is she on the
keep your bread
lease? I mean, that would be the other issue. Is she on the lease? Because if they're both on the lease, and he's
then
still
he's
still in
can't
chat.
vote
So
her.
answer in chat, Caleb. If they're still on the lease, this is a bad situation. You may just want to move.
Yeah.
unless you're staying at the house I think you're staying in, then you own it, and then it's easy. Then you just basically say, look, I know we've been swapping bodily fluids for a while. It's been great, but I'm not really feeling it, and you're not paying your part of the rent. So either start paying your rent for your room, or you got to go because I got to get another.
Or you can
no lease.
Tell her you are getting a new roommate who is going to pay for that room.
No, then she might try to sleep in his room with him and just move into his room full time.
Well,
no,
he can say that's not.
He's got
she's not
a
welcome.
new roommate who's going to be sleeping in his room with him, and her child will be sleeping in that room.
That's a great idea.
Ooh, and then you've taken care of everything, and that new roommate will be paying rent.
Yeah. Well. There you go. That's what you got to do, Caleb. You got to get creative, man. You're in a sticky situation. I don't envy that. I don't envy your spot.
I had a similar situation when I was going to college, living in Ellensburg. But yeah, that girlfriend was crazy, like BS crazy.
Sometimes they are.
Yeah, like
I mean, guys get
bad,
crazy too. Like I'm not saying the guys aren't crazy. I think the guys have the higher risk of being crazy than women. But yeah, sometimes women are nuts, man. Just absolutely. Sometimes, not always. Some aren't. Your wife's not crazy, is she, Tom?
Have you met her?
She might be listening to the show, Tom. Let's try this again. Your wife's not crazy, is she, Tom?
Sweetheart, I love you to death, but you're crazy as a loon.
All right, Dennis.
She calls him Poppy.
Can we do football picks really quick? Get our football picks out of the way.
We're done with this.
No, we're not done with football picks.
I think I had a great week.
Pretty sure I got a goose egg. No, I might have gotten one.
Yeah. All right. So we have 4 teams left now. And
Caleb, that's a good day to finalize a divorce.
Heck yeah.
Caleb, you can give me her number because I'd like to hook her up with one of my sons. No, she's really nice. Like I don't have anything mean to say about her at all. She's really nice. From the 5 minutes I spent with her at a karaoke bar.
Wow, that'll tell you everything.
Yeah. Listen, if you find a woman that can sing karaoke, that's a keeper, man. All right.
Yeah, but what if you can't sing karaoke? Like I cannot sing karaoke.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem.
I
to
am
me.
terrible. I'm dreadful.
I guarantee you're not dreadful.
Oh, I'm dreadful.
No. I guarantee you're not.
Oh.
I guarantee if you came out to karaoke with me and you sang, people would absolutely love you. No, they would love you.
Oh.
You don't agree?
I'm a dreadful singer.
I don't think you are.
You haven't been tormented with that happenstance.
All right, Outlaw Radio. So let's get our football picks out of the way. This will be quick because there's only 2 games. I can't even make this turn into a full segment now. Oh! We got to give standings really quick. So here's your standings. 2 people had perfect weeks this week. That means 5 for 5. All 4 games were picked correctly, and the double down was correctly. Those 2 people were Lori and I. So that means I continue to build upon my lead.
Yes.
But our divisional
regained average standing.
Each game is worth 3 points. So Laura and I each had 5. Dennis and Paul and Vegas each had 4. Me and Lori both beat Vegas, which is nice.
Woo!
Tom had 3 along with Andy. Trojo and Debbie each had 2. Yeah, Andy, you only had 3. You picked Kansas City and the Giants, Cincinnati and San Francisco, and then you double down on Buffalo.
Oh.
Yeah. So here's your tally. I am now running away with this sucker. 224 points for me, 217 for Dennis, 210 for Tom, 207 for Trojo, who's fading faster than the Cowboys. 208 for Paul, then 207 for Trojo, then 201 for Andy.
Wow, you're only a point under
194 for Lori and 180 for Debbie. Yeah, I've caught up.
Yeah, you're only a point under the Vegas line. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I got a huge gain.
So the conference championships, here we go. I'll pick first since Paul's not here. I did send these over to the other members of the team that are not here. Cincinnati travels to Kansas City. Cincinnati looked freaking good today.
Yeah, they did.
They looked good today.
Yeah, they did.
Joe Burrow looked good today. And Patrick Mahomes hurt his ankle and may not be 100%. I said this before. I'm going to continue to pick Cincy because of my dad. And so I will pick Cincinnati.
Patrick Mahomes is a freak of nature, though. He doesn't need an ankle.
Ask him about that. Dennis? Oh, sorry, Tom. Who do you got?
I'm going to go Cincy, too. I've been rooting for Joe Burrow all season because of my fantasy team.
Yeah.
So
Dennis?
why stop now?
Part of me wants to go Cincy,
mm-hmm.
but I think I'm going to stick with the Chiefs.
Yeah, Mahomes is just he's a freak of nature.
Mahomes, not that I'm a Kansas City fan by any flipping means, but Mahomes went out and played with a lot of heart today and showed that he's there to win. He's not just there for the paycheck.
By the way, each of these games are worth 4 points, so there's still ways for people to catch up. Okay. So you have Kansas City. Boss baby?
For other reasons, Cincinnati.
For other reasons?
No, I'm not.
Ohio.
I don't share your reasons.
Ohio.
Lori?
Well, Ohio, and I really appreciate how they stepped up for the Bills, and I am all in.
And he was there today, by the way.
Yeah,
at the Bills game,
that's what
which
I
is
heard.
good.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals, please.
You know, the relationship between Cincy and the Bills, that's just classy.
Mm-hmm.
That's just all class. I love it.
They did that whole thing right.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. That's very true.
I love good sports.
Now, is that game going to be in Kansas City or is it in...
That game is in Kansas City.
Yeah.
They're the number one seed.
I do have to say, I think that Kansas City, it's going to be a good, tough game. And I worry that Kansas City might win. But I'm going for Cincinnati.
All right, here we go. The other game. Then we'll get to our double downs. Tom, San Francisco travels to Philadelphia.
Philly.
Dennis.
Taking Philly.
There's no way I can.
Andy?
I can't root for.
Who?
She said
the
Lions.
Liners.
Oh, I thought she said the Lions. I'm like, oh. How does that work?
Not
Lori?
that high.
Philly cheesesteak.
The line is Philly, by the way, and I'm taking Philly as well. Boy, San Francisco's offense looked bad today, and I really do believe that the Philadelphia defense is better than the Dallas defense. So, Dennis, you got double down.
Philly.
Andy?
Cincy.
Lori?
Fight, Eagles. Fight.
Eagles.
My double down will be Kansas City.
That's what I was going to do.
Because I'm just going to split it. What do you got, Tom?
KC.
Yeah. So at least I get some points out of this.
Oh wait, can I change? I forgot
Yeah.
about
What do you want, Lori?
Yeah. Kansas City. Yeah.
All right. Sounds
Actually,
good.
you know what? I'm going to separate myself from the pack. I'm going to double down on the Niners. I hate the Niners.
I can't root for them. Although the Brock Purdy story is pretty cool, right? I mean, 7th round pick. Nobody thought he'd had a shot. Was never even supposed to play.
Well, it looks like he's 12. It looks old enough to be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That concludes our football picks.
And as much as I dislike the Niners,
Dennis just stops the music. He doesn't fade it out. He's just like,
he's done.
As much as I dislike the Niners, I do like watching George Kittle play football.
Oh, George Kittle's a beast, man.
I would love to see him as a Seahawk.
No, you know what?
Man,
a lot of those players are fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I just can't.
I can't root for
the
San
orange
Francisco.
and gold or red and gold or whatever the hell they are. Stop it, God! Insufferable. Just insufferable.
Have you watched the Kansas City game lately? At home?
Yeah, but hold on. I really like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I really like him. That kid's got he's got class.
Sitting there looking at the games in that stadium and all that red and goalpost yellow? Who would decide to go to the game and say, I'm dressing up as the goalpost?
Trojo just made his picks, by the way. He picked the Chiefs and the Niners and doubled down on the Chiefs. So I'll put him in there real quick, too. All right. So we're just waiting for Debbie and Paul. Debbie's not a part of the show anymore. She moved, but we do let her stay in the football pool just to keep it going. All right. Should we get a quick topic or do we want to do parting shots? Do we want to end on time tonight or do we want to run late?
End on time tonight.
It's a long week.
The fans have spoken.
That's what happens when you don't give anything. Take everything. So now we just start taking from you.
This radio marriage is so
it's just real. It's just it mimics real life marriage.
Yep. Next week is therapy.
I
By the way,
bar last night till 2 a.m. and then I was up before 7 to catch a boat home.
Mm-hmm.
So
Debbie and Trojo both took the same teams and they both left the show at about the same time. Coincidence?
They're in two different geographical locations.
Is Trojo in Nebraska now?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in forever. He could be.
And rumors.
He's probably the only black guy in Nebraska.
Whoa.
Yeah. Or at least the only one there by choice.
Yeah. Does anyone live in Nebraska by choice other than DT?
I think a lot of people do.
Have you been to Nebraska?
No,
Nebraska.
I'm sure it's similar to, like
there are no redeeming
Montana.
qualities.
Nebraska is one of the states I've never been in.
There are no.
There could be a reason for that.
I drove by it.
Yeah, cornfields.
Yeah. What is there to do?
It's like Nebraska is a starting point on a destination elsewhere.
That's true. Hey, really quick, since we have a couple minutes to fill, if you guys
Nebraska is where you get your O-line from.
If you guys are in the chat, you can ask any question you want in the chat.
Lord.
Any question.
Oh,
you got 3 minutes and we'll answer it.
Q&A.
If you put any question, ask us anything. We haven't done this segment in a long time.
AMA.
AMA?
Ask me anything.
Oh, ask me anything. AUA. Ask us anything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you have a question in the chat, anything you want, throw it in the chat. You got about 2.5 minutes. We'll answer your questions. And then we'll do parting shots. We'll get out of here. Do you guys have any big plans for the week while we wait for questions, if there are any?
Work.
Work. My job has enacted mandatory overtime.
Oh, mine has too. Lori.
Damn that Lori.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, we got to talk about Wednesday.
I don't know.
We might not be here Wednesday.
And Kevin, I feel you are really falling short tonight. Not once have you mentioned Steve Perry's birthday. 74 years old.
What?
Yeah. I have conflicted thoughts about Steve Perry.
Oh.
I really do, because I think he's an amazing vocalist and is greatly responsible for much of the achievement that Journey reached, but he's also the driving force behind the dissolution of the band and him leaving the band and a lot of the issues they had in the late 80s and then again in the 90s. So I'm very conflicted about Steve Perry.
All right.
Very conflicted. We don't have any questions. Nobody's asked any questions in the chat. Dennis, you have parting shots?
Hey, cooperate for kids and go see Dragons.
Oh, I'm going to opening game.
Are you?
I am. It's on a Thursday.
I plan on going to a game or two this year because the tickets are going to be so cheap. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to buy me a jersey. Got to get me a jersey. I get the white jersey though, because their orange jerseys look like Denver Bronco jerseys. And whoever came up with that bright piece of marketing right after Russell Wilson left here and went to Denver, yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, there is some people that are bitter on that one, but I like their new uniforms better than the old ones. So. Than the last iteration of.
Do you? I thought the
XFL.
green ones looked pretty cool.
No, I didn't.
Well, I like the action green for the Hawks too. So I'm one of those weirdos.
I got my. By the way, my new Tariq Woolen jersey. There you go, Tariq Woolen. That's pretty good. That'll be added to the repertoire of jerseys I have. I think I now have 20 jerseys.
I have 2 that I wear. I have 2 that are signed.
Yeah.
They're signed by me, but hey, if you write your name in it, it's signed, right? No, just kidding.
It's autographed by me, but it's autographed.
No, actually, I have a signed Keenan Allen and a Sean Merriman jerseys.
Somebody asked if Trojo quit too. Trojo he didn't have the ability with his jobs and stuff to do what he wanted to do. Okay, so really quickly, Kevin Nelson said that he's hoping Netflix renews that 90s show. So here's our last question.
I gotta watch that.
Here's our last question, really quick. Quickly, tell me what show you want to see renewed for next season, Dennis. I'll come back to you. Boss Baby, do you have a show you really want to see renewed next season?
Yeah, but I know it won't be.
What is it?
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. Never heard of it. Lori?
You haven't heard of
We
Peaky?
are over.
You haven't heard of
Lori,
Peaky
what's yours?
Blinders? Gosh, I don't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah,
so
We'll come back to you. Dennis, you think yours?
Really? I can't.
No, Tom?
I haven't watched anything current in a really long
You guys are all
time.
lame.
I can tell you, I would love to see them expand on the Black Sails franchise.
Okay.
That was one I really enjoyed.
Never heard of it.
What?
The one show I really want to see get renewed is The Resident, which is really good on Fox.
I like that one.
That's a great.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
If we're talking about TV, who even has cable anymore? Is
I
that
do.
a thing anymore?
Kevin
I
does.
have satellite.
Kevin does.
I have an
Jeez
antenna.
Louise.
Are you talking about The Resident? The guy in the
doctor show?
hospital?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
I like The Resident. I like
They're
New
still
Amsterdam.
Are they still making new
Yeah.
episodes?
Yeah, they just had their
Oh.
season finale, and it's always up in the air every year. The other show, we're past 11. Did we miss our end of hour on AM?
We did.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Sorry.
The other show that's really good, and it is already going to get renewed because the ratings are really good. But if you haven't had a chance to watch it, it's The Rookie.
I've heard of it.
It's got
stand that dude.
Nathan Fillion.
I
You
know
don't like Nathan Fillion?
No.
Oh, I think he's great. It's a great
I
show.
like him in other things, but in The Rookie and the show before that, the
Castle?
can't stand
Really?
him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the writing or the way he's.
Oh, I love The
acting.
Rookie.
Ooh.
Rookie's good. Rookie's good.
Yeah.
And obviously Yellowstone needs to come back next year.
Yeah.
Lori, do you have a problem talking into the front of the microphone?
Yes.
No. Why?
Because you always have it turned sideways in front of your face.
Oh, that's
and it's
where it would stay.
No, you can turn it though, so it's still there. We go.
Oh, okay.
Because those are designed to block out noise from behind here.
Okay. Got it.
I just thought it reminded her that one time at band camp. All right.
Whoa!
The flute wasn't that big.
Never went to band camp.
Dennis, parting shots.
We won't
I
crack
already
any
had mine.
cheerleader jokes. I didn't know you were a cheerleader.
I already had mine.
Yeah,
I
I was
was,
a
hey,
cheerleader.
just my normal cooperate for kids.
Here.
Yeah, and go see dragons.
Go see dragons. All right. Boss Baby, you have parting shots?
Always. But no. I mean, I take shots. I know. Shot. No, not even that kind.
I poured a
See,
lot
like
of shots
punches.
last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Were they good?
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you don't have any shots in Boss Baby you want to give?
No,
I do all those fancy
I'll
split
punch
shots
you
and
later.
stuff.
All right.
Lori,
Yeah.
your turn.
Parting shots.
Yeah.
Everybody have a great week. W-2s, 1099s coming out this week or next week, depending on your employer.
All mine are done. All mine
Good
are
for
ready.
you.
All
Good
mine
for
are ready.
you.
No, I'm just, it's really, it makes me happy.
Mine are not. Mine will be ready this week.
I haven't gotten a W-2 in decades.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Tom, parting shots?
No. Covered my business at the beginning of the
Jesus
show.
fucking Christ. Nobody's got any part. Dennis like, nope.
Because
Boss Baby's like, nope. Tom is like,
It's
nope.
after 11. We want to go home and go to bed.
I
And
gave
Dennis
a parting
said cooperate
shot.
for
Let's
kids.
go. Yeah, Dennis said cooperate.
Oh, that's
for
right.
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and go see dragons.
And go see dragons. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Shut up.
Yeah, I covered my business at the beginning of the show tonight. So
All I want to say is this.
Come on. Let's go.
I'm trying to get there. All I'm trying to say is this, Strojo. How about them Cowboys? We'll see you guys Wednesday night, 7 p.m. as normal. We love you. We appreciate you. Thanks for supporting the show. And go visit the website, outlawradionetwork.com.
Buy your merch.
And now I have to not go please my radio wife. Good night, everybody.
Good night.